players are playing at full speed. And you look at what they're creating. They're creating goals. They're creating opportunities with their speed on the ice. And you have a watch there at CCI. How quickly do they get going? I mean, they're almost 22 miles per hour on the rush. And this is what you're used to seeing with McDavid. Through the neutral zone, gaining that speed, attacking, and then surveying his options, his ability to finish. Even if he's in the zone, you watch his quick strides. It's almost a pause, a fake, and then the deception and the fake when you are skating so quickly creates all of the time and the space. And the McKinnon we're looking at, there's just always such power and speed. This one, for him, that rush is 24 miles per hour. You just have to feel for any defenders that are attempting to slow them down. It's almost impossible to stop them with this speed. Just absolutely electric to watch these two. And two of the top three in the scoring race, two favorites for the Hart Trophy as well.
10 seconds.
Ooh.
McKinnon is unbelievable. I covered him on Tuesday. Unreal year.
Ditto.
That's good. Tampa's leading Panthers 2-0 first intermission of their game. Coyotes up on the Devils 3-1 second intermission of their game. Our games on Hockey Night next.
I'm back with Sports Interact.
Hockey Night in Canada, in association with the NHL and Sportsnet.
you're lucky enough to be Irish, you're lucky enough on a day where it's easy being green.
Let's see who is ready to seize the luck of the Irish tonight.
You're the fighter. You've got the fire, the spirit of a warrior, the champion's heart. You fight for your life because the fighter never quits. You make the most of it, you don't, because the quitter never wins. You were born a fox in the city that's seen the share.
Could land in the hands of anybody from anywhere this night tonight.
This is Hockey Night in Canada on Sportsnet.
Action, we've got action for you here tonight.
Oh, did you see that?
One performance doesn't get any better than this.
He's got a step. He's in.
There's a chance for Crosby. He scores! Absolutely amazing.
Mighty Ireland is 4 hours ahead of us here in Toronto, so that means we're inside 1 hour to the big day, St. Patrick's Day. The Dropkick Murphys, the Warrior Code kickstarts the evening. A little sprig of the Emerald Isle down in Toronto. The Leafs wearing their St. Pat sweaters. And off to Calgary tonight as well. The playoff race is dialing up, and a great reminder of what will be at stake. The '89 Stanley Cup champions are at the game between Montreal and Calgary. Then a dynamite double-double tonight as we feature Colorado, Edmonton, and Washington and Vancouver. Canucks could move to first overall in the NHL tonight. So yeah, it's just lots of, I mean, what has Chris Knobloch done? Their .745 winning percentage. Crazy stuff. Hockey Night in Canada, presented by Rogers with Jennifer Botterill, Kelly Rudy, and Kevin Bieksa, and St. Paddy's Day. So we'll toast that a little bit later, but we should toast it right now. The Shamrock, there you have it, is the emblem of Ireland. And the Clover, I thought we would just have a hat trick of great stories with Ireland-born connections. And we'll start in Belfast, actually just outside Largun is one, and then Belfast itself, and then we'll move over to Dublin. But let's begin with the Worlds and Geraldine Heaney and the All-Star. And you remember Owen Nolan. Here they are.
It's the Canadians. Heaney, beautiful move. Shot on the goal. What a play by Geraldine Heaney.
And brought it back out. Here's Nolan again. I'm going to get you. He does. He got it. Finally. Well, that was amazing. Nolan pointed and he said, I'm doing it this time, baby. And he did.
Thank you, Robert. But the real luck of the Irish, that'd be a rock star in the pouring rain asking a stranger for asylum. It happened.
I was hitchhiking in Vancouver just yesterday. Actually, I was. And this guy and his girlfriend picked me up, and I'm in a truck. And he was very cool, and it turns out he was an ice hockey player. Gilbert Brûlé, as it happens.
I mean, is that a beautiful way to say it? Gilbert Brûlé, born in Edmonton, played for the Vancouver Giants, played for the Edmonton Oilers. Off to those cities later tonight, but it's St. Paddy's Day at Scotiabank Arena, and Kyle Bukauskas, you are there. Over to you. Happy St. Pat's Day.
Thank you, Ron. Same to you. Still no Mitch Marner, though, for the Maple Leafs. Calle Jarnkrok is out tonight as well. There was a time earlier in this season where the Leafs were relying on their big four to carry the offense at a rate that was amongst the highest it had ever been since John Tavares came to Toronto. Lately, though, the scoring's been a lot more balanced. Bertuzzi, McMahon, Nyes, Domi, amongst others, finding the score sheet with more regularity of late. The balance of power continues to shift in the Metro Division. Jake Gensel trading in his Penguins bag for Hurricanes colors a week ago. He and Evgeny Kuznetsov have made impacts already, and there's a look into the eye of the storm right there. Both these teams on solid footing with less than 20 games to go. Ryan Leslie, over to you in Calgary.
Thank you, Kyle. 80s night here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Habs and Flames forever linked by those 2 Stanley Cup finals against one another. To the ice we go here, and we'll start with Montreal. No Marty St. Louis. He will not be behind the bench. Left Calgary for family reasons. Trevor Letowski takes over head coaching duties tonight. Caden Primo, the starting goaltender tonight for the Canadiens. Both teams with a youth movement, if you will. And as far as goaltending is concerned, another performance for Dustin Wolf tonight. He gets the nod, and Andrei Kuzmenko and AJ Greer, who missed the last 18 games, draws back in. And Ron, I got your name written here in a rose tattoo.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Our hearts go out to Marty St. Louis. Ryan, thanks for the update on that, and sorry to hear it. Kelly, how about that game?
Well, for Calgary, the biggest story basically for me is Dustin Wolf getting his second consecutive start. He was brilliant on Thursday versus Vegas. 4-1 victory, 28 saves. Hopefully he can get on a bit of a roll.
And for the Leafs, new line combinations. Austin Matthews surrounded by 2 players who can play a reliable and smart game. I also like the line, the Domi line, that McMahon can also play with pace. All forwards need to be aware of back pressure because Carolina has added skill and depth to their lineup.
And have we heard how Carolina plays man-on-man in the D-zone? It's a big topic, and what that means is you create a whole bunch of one-on-ones in the D-zone. If I'm a Toronto forward, I'm salivating. You beat your guy in a one-on-one, you're probably getting a clear path to the net. So look for Matthews and some of those top offensive guys, Nylander, to get some chances tonight.
Great night of hockey. There's no question about that. Chris Cuthbert, Craig Simpson at Toronto, Rick Ball and Greg Millen over at Calgary. The heart is a bloom. It shoots up through the stony ground.
You fight for your life because a fighter never quits. You make the most of and you're dealt because a quitter never wins.
Toronto. We got a gem of a matchup here tonight between the Maple Leafs and Hurricanes. Toronto won 3 of their last 4. Carolina 4 of their last 5. Both have been among the very best in the NHL since the turn of the calendar. Inside the top 5 when it comes to points percentage. Tonight they meet for the first time in 2024. Chris and Craig will have your call for it, but first we'll hand things off to Mike Ross.
We now ask that you please rise if you're able to, remove your hats, and join Natalie Morris in the singing of our national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Here in Toronto on the eve of St. Patrick's Day, the Leafs honor the Irish roots of the franchise that dates back over a century as they don their St. Pat's throwback uniforms to host the Carolina Hurricanes on Hockey Night in Canada. Starting goaltenders, there's Pyotr Kochetkov, who starts for Carolina, the February Rookie of the Month, 3rd in the league with a 2.35 goals against average. And the Leafs will stay with their hot hand. 3rd consecutive start for Ilya Samsonov, 10-2 since the All-Star break, 4-0 in March, a career 5-0 against the Canes. Game 1,400 for Brent Burns in this, his 20th year. The Barrie native also playing in his 828th consecutive game. And William Nylander for the Leafs had a goal and assist in Philadelphia Thursday. Next point will match a career high, but the big guns are on the bench to start as both teams start with their support staff. The 3rd line for Carolina, the 4th line tonight for the Leafs. David Camp along with Connor Dewar and Noah Gregor returns to the Leaf lineup. He's missed 8 of the last 10 as a healthy scratch. Here's a puck played behind the net by Dewar. Camp goes after it. Along the boards, Gregor had it momentarily, and now starting back is Seth Jarvis, who scored for Carolina. First meeting of the year here was a 3-2 win for the Canes. Timothy Lilligren, a strong game in Philadelphia. Backhands it deep. Austin Matthews checks in along with Tyler Bertuzzi. And Pontus Holmberg will ride shotgun again. No Mitch Marner tonight. That knocked down at the side of the net. And Aho nearly had a look. Bertuzzi out. He opened the scoring against Philadelphia. Craig, we're not expecting a lot of trading of chances tonight.
No, this is a team in Carolina that doesn't give you a whole lot.
There's a chance, maybe. Holmberg couldn't get it to the net. And Jesper Fast sends it away.
It'll be really interesting to see how the lines come together for the Leafs with the different looks, and obviously missing a couple of key components in Marner and Yarncroke up front.
There's Labushkin, who missed practice yesterday, a maintenance day after a tough night in Philadelphia. Physically, he had to go to the dressing room a couple of times, but did finish up. John Tavares now out along with Matthew Nyes. Here's the captain up top, unable to get that one across to McKee. Broken up, and Nate just sends it ahead. Here's Gitzel, sprawling play as it was broken up there by Brody. Jake Gitzel in his third game for Carolina, looking for his first goal as a Hurricane.
Boy, smart early read there by Brody. He just had a gap so that Gensel had a little bit of time to make the play, but went down at the right timing there to take away any pass.
Here's Nate just working his way back in, drops it off for Kuznetsov, who scored in a big win over Florida. That deflected high by Gensel. Burns moves up. It's chopped past him by Nick Robertson. Nate just held the zone. Along the boards is Brody, getting it to Tavares. Got tied up momentarily by Gensel, but was able to clear. That was a 4-0 win for Carolina against Florida in a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Final. It was a thorough victory by the Hurricanes. Here's a turnover, and in comes Max Domi. He swings it to the far side. Nylander on it, plays it back towards Domi. From the near corners, trying to cycle it down, looking for Bobby McMahon. Got it to Nylander. Has some room on the backhand. William Nylander trying to get shooting late, gets it back again, sends it across, and glove stop by Kochetkov. Former Hurricane Joel Edmondson.
Oh, good little tempo to the game here early on. And it mentioned here Gensel's got a gap, so he has plenty of time to survey. Tried to slide it for a tap-in back door. Just great timing there by Brody. You know, you go down too quickly, Gensel has a time to stop with that one and not make the pass. He timed it perfectly as the pass came, got down and took away any chance for the backdoor tap-in.
So Matthews digs in on the draw and wins the face-off. Back to Morgan Rielly. He'll tap it in behind the net, and Tyler Bertuzzi goes after it. Goal and an assist for Bertuzzi against the Flyers. Holmberg tries to center. It'll come back to Rielly. He'll send it to the net, and Bertuzzi just missed the tip. What a tip he had on a goal that was eventually disallowed. It was like an opposite field single there.
It was a beauty,
in Philadelphia.
It's a shame it didn't count. And I think it raised a few eyebrows with some great hand-eye from a very tough angle on the short side.
Matthews on 55 goals, 30 at home, 25 on the road. And it's Nylander trying to work his way through, was checked.
Sheldon Keefe liked that first shift of this line, and he goes right back out with the Domi line after. They sat for one.
McMahon with a steal, and Nylander put it in front, just out of the reach of McMahon. It'll come to Domi again, sidesteps Kotkaniemi, and off the side of the net, Kotkaniemi up with it, and he'll lead Carolina out. That pass cut off by McMahon, trying to send away Domi, and all the way to Kochetkov. So Bobby McMahon with a couple of takeaways here on successive shifts.
What I take away from that is, you know, a lot of time coaches look at each other, go fourth line against fourth line. You okay with that? Well, Sheldon Keefe jumped the queue on that one, and it was the Canes' fourth line, and he went back with the Domi line after that good first shift.
Kochetkov whipped that ahead. Edmondson able to get a stick on it to hold the zone. Quick stick. Now Camp on the forecheck. It's Slavin off the boards, comes back to him up ahead, and Nate just with speed. He is quick. His He drops it off. Gensel walks in. And Walker stopped by Samsonov. His first of the night. Just past the 5-minute mark. Gensel with 22 goals on the year, but missed almost a full month. And just back up to speed in the last week.
Well, like the gang was talking about in the pregame, you know, there's 2/3 of what is a good second line. All of a sudden, a couple of newcomers, and they're a very different look and a really dangerous line to have to play against.
There's Svechnikov on the far side, former Barrie Colt. Gave up the puck, and it's been a hit. They're trying to get it to Nick Robertson back in the lineup. First game in March for Robertson, who last played on February the 29th. And in a pretty good role here with Tavares. And Nyes as it's rolled in on Kochetkov. Tavares gets there first, centered it, and unable to come up with that was Robertson. Back the other way, it'll be flipped high by Svechnikov, and lands in behind the Leaf net. McCabe sends it up the boards and out to center. Burns will fire it right back in. Jake McCabe for TJ Brody. Pressure there along the boards, the centering pass, and that's sent wide by Jarvis. On the far side, knifed in one-handed there by Slavin, puck behind the net. And looking for it to stall. Jarvis is on it. First 20-goal season for Seth Jarvis. Checked there by Brody. Now McCabe, Martin accounting him. A chance side of the net. And holding the post was Samsonov. Burns shooting, and that got through wide of the net. Bertuzzi trying to clear it. For the first time, Carolina's got the Leafs in. Burns looking for a redirect in front, and the Leafs are going to clear.
Yeah, that was clearly not a shot on goal. He was just trying to bang it in off whatever body he could hit. He ended up hitting his defense partner, who was down there in front. You'll see that a lot with those two. They're not afraid to cycle in and get involved. He and Slavin jump up any chance they can.
So Kanyemi trying to track it down to the Leaf zone. Liljegren for Edmondson. And McMahon will send it out to center, looking for Domi. Back is Dmitry Orlov, who's been playing well of late. That pass does reach Gensel. Natchez with speed and trying to throw it back across. It redirects in on Samsonov, who nearly spit it back out. So pretty good pace here in the opening 7.5 or so.
Brent Burns before he arrived in Carolina was. He's a big man with a big beard and a big shot. He's come to learn Burns is just a kid at heart, though, even 1,400 games in. Apparently, it's an open-door policy at his house, inviting teammates over to use the sauna, cold tub whenever to help recover. Rod Brindamore played 1,484 career games. He said this morning he believes longevity in the game is an underrated piece when evaluating a career, and the rest of Burns' numbers are pretty darn good too, Chris.
Only Ryan Suter and Alexander Ovechkin have played more among active players. And did he forget big personality? That's the biggest part of it.
And the personality is such a big part of who he is, but it's also that energy that allows you to play that long. I mean, you've got to have that spark and that drive and that real internal energy to go that long and play at this high a level.
I mean, the youngest 39-year-old around, and Samsonov found that in the blue painted covers.
There's a good play there by Taylor Chatfield just to put it to the front of the net with some bodies in front. We saw before we went to commercial, twice Samsonov tried to get the puck and missed it. This time it comes into his body again from a really tough angle. It looked like he had it for a second, and then look at the box out in front. It's a good aggressive play by Chatfield to just get it there, and you could see Lyubushkin not looking for the puck, just trying to clear the front so his goaltender could get a piece of that.
It was 6-2 Leafs on Thursday, but Sheldon Keefe emphasized that goaltending was a big factor.
What a turnaround it's been for Samsonov. He really kind of mind-blowing just how he's been able to recover, and he's on such an amazing streak right now.
Puck flipped away, and Connor Dewar gets there first in the Carolina zone. He scored against the Hurricanes earlier this year as a member of the Minnesota Wild. TJ Brody ahead. That's off the skate to Breaker and ricochets deep into Carolina ice. Dewar's on the forecheck. Brody unable to keep that one in. And here's a possible 2-on-1. Kotkaniemi across. In front, big stop. Samsonov off. Orlov who jumped up. There's a Brendan Lemieux shot that doesn't get to the net. But a big early save for Samsonov.
Yeah, a little odd man rush that in the neutral zone, the quick little transition by Carolina like they can do, and that opened up the lane. What a huge early save for Samsonov. He stood his ground well.
The Sammy chance early in this one. McCabe battles and Robertson. Here come the Leafs as Nylander brings it in with Domi to the net, and Kochetkov will cover up.
Desjardins Financial Group. All heart for community hockey and the people who make it happen.
You know, this play starts in the neutral zone, and Kotkaniemi knows he's got the defender jumping up in Orlov. Just tried to get Samsonov to bite a little bit further to his right. You could see he tried to slide over, looked like he was going to go to his left. Orlov went back to the right, and Samsonov with a great glove save.
Face-off win by Domi. The Edmondson shot blocked and back into Leaf territory. Played out past Stahl. Fired in by Brady Shea. There's Edmondson scooping it back, and that'll be picked off by Martinook. This is the checking line for Carolina. Stahl, Martinook, and Seth Jarvis, who provides some offense as well, matched up against William Nylander and company. Wallergren reversing it for Edmondson. Around the boards to Nylander, redirects to center. Bertuzzi hands it off, and Matthews to work. 1-on-3, and he can't barge through. Off the boards, and Matthews to the line. Lyubushkin had trouble with that and has to scramble back in a hurry against the speedy Svechnikov.
Boy, good recovery there by Lyubushkin. Got a little bit of the body to slow him down, and then really used his legs to get back and recover.
Morgan Riley flipping it down into the Carolina zone, but from his side of center, so that's icing Toronto.
You know, this is one of those plays that I think Svechnikov would think, I've got Lyubushkin flat-footed here. I'm going to be able to just get in all by myself. And that little bit of a push wasn't a penalty, but look at how quickly, good angle by Lyubushkin there. Went on the inside route and didn't go right after the puck went to where it was going to be. And that's a foot race that I was surprised to see Svechnikov not be able to win. I think Svechnikov was surprised as well. Well done by Lyubushkin on that one.
Just able to bump him off course, right off the draw. Hot shot by Natchez. And Holmberg clears to center past the midway mark of this opening period. Shot 6-4 Carolina. Flip back into the Leaf zone, and Lyubushkin back after first. Can't get it past Gensel. Matthews backed him up ahead for Holmberg, and he couldn't settle a bouncing puck. Matthews follows up. Holmberg's headed off. And is he going to play that? Do they have too many? No.
That's a good play by Robertson. He's hanging on the boards with one leg back in the bench as he noticed that the puck was coming there, and that's the responsibility of the player on the bench. Robertson reacted quick enough to not take a penalty.
They tell me the Leafs have had a few too many penalties this year.
Too many.
Chatfield over the line. That one flipped towards the Leaf net, and Samsonov will hold on to that. A chance off a face-off for the Hurricanes. Natchez stopped by the right pad of Samsonov.
His season, as Chris and Craig were talking about, has done so while seemingly wearing a pair of blinders the whole way. Anytime he's after a game about a certain player to reflect on how far he's come, the answer constantly some form of not thinking about it, it's in the past, just worried about what's next. His focus has stayed forward the entire time. His results reflect that. Evgeny Kuznetsov, a good friend of his, threw some chirps his way this morning, but he does believe his best games for Samsonov are still to come, Chris.
Always like his interviews. He was asked about the time off when the Leafs had a break between the Montreal-Philadelphia game. He said fresh mind, and he has looked sharp so far tonight.
Well, I just admire the way he's dug in, and you know the hardest thing you can get is the problem between the ears when you lose your confidence.
That one deflected on to Samsonov off another Carolina face-off win in the offensive zone. Bertuzzi trying to get it deep but couldn't get it past Burns. Scooped back in by Svechnikov, who had words there with Bertuzzi. Edmondson off the boards. Bertuzzi bumped by Burns. Matthews checked at the line. Samsonov knocked down by Slavin. Looked like he was trying to redirect to Matthews, who would have had a lane to the net.
Yeah, that was an aggressive play by Slavin there that might have saved the goal, getting the stick in the way.
Rink wide pass across. Aho drops it off. Here's Slavin. That doesn't reach the net. Picked up behind the cage. And we've got the first penalty of the game, and it's an offensive zone penalty against Carolina.
Turns out America still doesn't know about hockey, so why bet on it with one of their sportsbooks? Sports Interaction, your homegrown sportsbook.
2-minute minor hooking. You can hear the hooking call. Jesper Fast. This is one that Rod Brindamore won't like. Just spinning around was Edmondson, and you just can't get the stick into that hand area. He just got a quick little stick in and turned Edmondson around, so he couldn't make the play. And that look says a lot. 185 yards or feet from your own goaltender, and now you give a power play that's been struggling, but an opportunity to get the game's first goal.
One of its last 20 for the Leafs, still looking for their 50th power play goal of the season. Now ranked 4th in the league. A couple of defensemen out there, and just failing to get away there was Stahl. 2 defensemen for the Leafs, Liljegren and Riley. The Nylander shot off a leg. John Tavares. Here's Riley in deep, puck to the net, and Kochetkov will cover. And again, Timothy Liljegren out there as a second defenseman, but because he's a right-handed shot.
Well, and because look at the numbers. I mean, isn't that just mind-boggling? How can you go from top of the league in February, where the puck was just finding a way to get in and everything was clicking well, to all of a sudden in March can't quite find themselves? So minus Marner especially, it's go with the two defensemen and see if they can get something to happen here.
Tavares won the draw. Puck kept in by Riley, and now they'll get organized. Oh, Matthews was left in front. He wanted that puck and didn't get it. You don't usually see the beaver tap from Matthews. He's got it now. And passed off to Tavares. Here's Tavares. Back to Liljegren. Down low it goes in. Out of the reach of Tavares. Stahl, and now Jarvis will clear the penalty killing of Carolina, number 2 ranked in the league. And they've killed their last 17 shorthanded.
They've been so consistent. They were second overall all of last year in the penalty killing. They will be coordinated pressure. All 4 guys will move in unison and not give you any time.
Okay, Nylander almost lost it to Aho, and they'll have to reboot. Now they're in with Tavares on this left side. He's checked by Martinook and going to take a penalty as he got the grab on Martinook, and the power play is done. And this penalty on the eve of St. Patrick's Day called by Dan O'Rourke.
You can see a little impatience by Matthews. He's like, come on, I got it, I'm open. The lane was there, and just that hesitation took away the lane. Here's the turnover. The bounce pass gets into an area where Nylander can't control. Now everybody's standing still, and there's the little grab there. That's the pressure I'm talking about. As soon as you enter that zone, there's immediate pressure. Martinook did a nice job. He got support, and it's Martinook who draws the penalty for the Leafs.
So they'll play 4 skaters aside for 43 seconds. The Leafs have outscored their opponents 5-1 in this situation. The Hurricanes have been outscored 4-2. 4-on-4 so far this season. Domi the face-off win, and TJ Brody across for McCabe. And he gives it up at center. It'll be spun back into Leaf ice, and I think Kotkaniemi thought he might have been still killing a penalty.
Yeah, Kuznetsov, he turned quickly. He's having a long talk here with the linesman. He thought he was right at the line, and he's getting the call. No, not at all. So immediately you had a more defensive-minded Leafs in their defensive zone. Now with that icing, Matthews and Nylander come out quickly with the pairing of Liljegren and Riley, trying to get something here off of the icing.
28 seconds of 4-on-4 still left. And here's Matthews chopping it towards Nylander. That was intercepted by Pesce. Hurricanes get control. You wonder how long Matthews, Nylander stay out now with the power play soon to start for Carolina. Knocked back, and here's a race for it. Matthews beaten to the puck by Shea. And now the penalty done. Fast onto the ice, and Carolina to the power play. Dewar checks in along with Kemp. And Natchez has to backpedal, sends it across. Rink wide, that hits Dewar, and he'll chip and chase, and they have a break. Here's Dewar, Kemp to the net, to the stop by Kochetkov, who has the rebound and covers up. Nice burst from the newcomer, Connor Dewar.
Well, everything's been pretty positive for Rod Brind'Amour with Kuznetsov. New guy, just try to give him his confidence. And here's a risky play, and then watch at the top of your screen. Just end of a long shift, doesn't even try to get back, and that opens up the lane for Dewar as Kuznetsov, no, I'm going to go. Dewar just jumps on, and he gets the wide-angle shot, but a good save by Kochetkov. But that'll be a little discussion from the head coach on the bench, I would imagine, by Brind'Amour.
Turns for Jarvis, and McCain's advance on this right side is Jarvis. Going to turn it back. It comes to Burns. Back into the corner. Jarvis sweeps it around. Here's Svechnikov to Burns. Down low it goes. Jarvis down was McCabe to take, and he shot in tight away. Gitzel. Jarvis Advancing it to Gensel, around for Svechnikov, bonding there by Dewar. And the Leafs will clear. So Tavares gets set to return. Best combined power play penalty kill in the league, Carolina. And in the abbreviated power play, did not get a shot on goal. So back to full strength for both teams. And it's Stahl. Watched by Lyubushkin. Back to the line, Orlov. Double clutch. Got it away. And his buddy Samsonov has another stop off Dmitry Orlov. So under 5 to go here in a scoreless first period.
Chat with Kuznetsov there earlier on. Here they are having a conversation during the skate this morning. Brind'Amour talked today about needing to be the right fit now with Kuznetsov in the fold, Jake Gensel as well. But he also believes they're a better team. He said Kuznetsov is a guy they're trying to get their pace up after he had been away from the game for a while. So as much as it was great, the impact he made Thursday night at home against Florida, you do get a sense that there's going to be a bit of a process here yet, Chris.
Indeed, big goal for Kuznetsov. We saw the bird celebration against Florida, and in the post game, Rod actually dealt with that too. He said, I used to hate it, but now I don't mind it.
That type of a player, you've got to manage the bad and celebrate the good, because there's lots of both. You'll get some amazing plays by Kuznetsov, but you also get some times where you got to have a real good hard talk to him about the way he's playing and some of the risky things he'll do. Worthwhile risk, though, for these Carolina Hurricanes going through the playoffs.
Great work by Nyes along the board. Tavares will draw a penalty this time as he went to the net, and the Leafs will get their second power play of the night.
Well, there's a great example of once you lose the body position, just the veteran savvy of Tavares knows out of this pile, as soon as he gets pinned in, he's got Stahl in a bad spot, so just take it to the net. That forces Stahl. If he goes behind the net, Stahl has a chance to recover and not worry about maybe a scoring chance coming. Instead of taking the route to the front, the two captains battle head to head. There's been a lot of games and a lot of battles between those two over the years, and Tavares wins that one and creates the power play.
So how would you fix the power play that's sputtering?
I just didn't like the fact that they just seemed unsure of themselves. Back in February, there was no hesitation, quick puck movement, body movement. A lot of times it has to do with the collective confidence of your players individually. And during that stretch, you think you had Nylander going through a 10-game point streak. You had Matthews scoring, 36 goals in his last 34 games. Everybody had good positive energy. You didn't really need to think about the setup of your power play. You let guys freelance. Well, as soon as that breaks down, you got to get back to some fundamentals. Good quick puck movement, get the puck to the net.
There's Tavares. It looked like he won the face-off, but Riley missed it. Now Nylander will turn quickly and head back up ice. Points at 50 games for William Nylander. Gets the loose puck and goes to the net. In front for Tavares. Kachetkov with a good stick to force him back. Lilligren off the boards for Matthews. Parked in front was Nylander, and Riley missed the pass. Here's Matthews to the net. Looking for a return feed from Nylander. It was denied. Lilligren down low, and that's off Aho. Retrieved by Tavares. Off his stick. Jarvis with a chance to clear, and does.
There's another hesitation. You know, just not quite in sync, not quite free-flowing, and allows the good aggressive defenders to make the play.
Nice feed by Samsonov, who had an assist against the Flyers. Nick Robertson on his second power play unit now, and Robertson will cycle around for Bertuzzi. Out there with Knives. Matthews stays in front. Robertson put that one wide of the net as the pass was hot and just couldn't steer it on target.
Robertson's talking to himself on that one. That was a hard pass, but he was in great position. Just didn't get enough on that bottom hand to get it back towards as he tried to one-time it across his body.
Here's Bertuzzi leaving it. Doby's over the line with Knies. A backhand comes across. Bertuzzi knocked it down. Bumped back. No shot from McCabe. That one fired off Kachetkov. Robertson hit the side of the net. Orlov's got it. And a high stick will bring that one outside the line off the high stick of Max Domi.
Oh, that first couple of chances came from Samsonov identifying, okay, the Carolina Hurricanes are dead tired making a change. So the quick up to Matthews gets it back into the setup in the offensive zone. And there's Bertuzzi with a quick look. And, you know, sneaking in there was Robertson. Just didn't quite get enough power on that bottom hand as tried to stiff that one in the short side and instead missed it wide left.
So just 5 seconds remaining. Stahl standing in the penalty box, ready to return. Camp wins the draw, and Edmondson will send it around. Krieger after it on the far side. It gets past Brody. Look out. Here comes Kuznetsov. Over the line. A pass and a sprawl of defensive play by Edmondson. Krieger can't chip that one past Pesce, but moves back in again. Pesce breaks up another pass in behind the net, and Dewar's going to get a holding penalty now. Offensive zone penalty against Connor Dewar. Put the grab on Brady Shea.
You've seen 2 offensive zone penalties, 1 for each team. You've seen a couple of good plays defensively. And watch Edmondson, no panic here. Just times this, and great stick is that one. Kuznetsov was thinking past the whole way. And there's that left hand. They're just right in on Brady Shea. Dewar almost, as soon as the whistle went, knew, okay, it was there. But that's something you just can't do. Pull in there after you saw that Tavares drew one on Stahl. There's the counterpoint there as Dewar takes one.
So 1:58 remaining in the period. First full power play for Carolina. Burns allowed to walk in, missed the target, and that deflects out of play.
Oh, there's Burns walking down. You know, he first hesitated, almost like, who should I pass it to? And then he looked up. He said, I think I can walk right down there. Good box out there off the faceoff, but the body's in the way, got in the way, and Jarvis, who was doing that box out, I think got a piece of that one and knocked it up.
Looked like it was Seth Jarvis, who will take this face-off for the Hurricanes against David Kemp. And off the drop, Kane's on it. And a rink-wide pass, Svechnikov unable to get control of it on the one time, and Holmberg plays it back.
You know, it was a rocket of a pass across by Aho, but I think Svechnikov was at first thinking one-timer, then saw the opportunity for a pass and kind of got caught in between and did neither.
Camp breaks up a zone entry, and the Leafs will send it back down with 80 seconds remaining in the opening period. Burns will dump it back. Here come the Hurricanes invading the zone. Aho after it, but taken away there and fired down the ice on a good play by Jake McCabe.
Last minute of play in the first period.
And under a minute remaining in the Carolina power play, their second of the game. Natchez with a touch, and across it comes to Shea, who sends it in. Shea had a pair of goals in a visit to Montreal last week. along the boards. That hit the back of McMahon. Kept in by Natchez. Here's Natchez walking in. He scored against Florida on Thursday. Shea across. Here's the shot. And that hit a leg, goes wide. And a good play by McMahon to force that puck out to center. Natchez will move right back in. Rink wide it goes. Brady Shea right on. Kick to the corner where Nason played it for Natchez. To the line, kept alive by Shea. Into the corner, Nason. Got Kanyemi, holds the zone. Here's Shea. Kuznetsov. Rink wide and at the horn. The puck ends up in the corner. 2 seconds will be left on the power play to start period 2. 9-8 the shots in favor of Carolina after 1. On this St. Patrick's Day Eve, to the point coming up in our first intermission with Ron, Jennifer, Kelly, and Kevin on Hockey Night in Canada.
NHL Edge. Know more about every stat, every shift, and every star at nhl.com/edge.
Welcome back to the first intermission from the Jeep 4xElectric studio. Get exceptional range with your Jeep plug-in hybrid SUVs. Jeep, making freedom electric. And now it's time for To The Point with Jennifer Botterill, Kevin Bieksa, Kelly Rudy, and To The Point is the Stanley Cup playoffs are right around the corner. We've got 6 weeks roughly left, and Kelly, Stanley Cup is a marathon of skill, of attrition, but more than anything, of focus, and we're starting to see it.
Yes, and what a difference for Samsonov from, say, 2.5 months ago, right? If you would have thought that you'd see him here in mid-March play this well after the start he had, but watch his focus. He never takes his eye off the puck, and I mean never. While the play's going on, he will track that thing until the whistle blows. That we are always taught that as a goaltender. Even if your team has perfect control like Toronto did on that one, you're always thinking that there could be a turnover and you have to be ready. That is just ultra focus. That is fantastic. I love it, and I'm sure he's hoping the playoffs start anytime now because he is ready. He is dialed in.
The message is never trust the defenseman.
It is.
The puck behind the net. I think Steve
telling
Smith,
you, it is.
There's bad bounces and crazy things that happen. Never trust a D young goal.
And I don't care how good the defenseman that has the puck on his stick. You always think he's going to turn it over.
Like, there's a briskness to how quickly he's tracking that puck with his head movements. It's amazing.
Awesome.
How about Caden Primo?
Okay, this is a good story because he had only one start since the trade deadline. We know they got rid of Allen. So you want to make a statement in that one game, right? So he has a 41-save shutout in that one. He's only given up one in this first period. What a great opportunity for him. I believe this is only his 37th NHL game, so he's 24 years old. This is a great opportunity for he and Montembeault to really show the organization that thank you for the opportunity, and we really respect this opportunity that we have. And so I like this. They're two good young goaltenders. They made the right move by getting rid of Allen at the time. Make sure these guys are kind of ready for the opportunity.
And Jennifer, you really see the focus in off-day activities. So Ben Sherratt goes at Raymond in the Detroit practice, and we all get a big kick out of it. What do you think about it?
Well, interesting, because they weren't the only team that had a skirmish this week. In Vancouver, they had a little one, too. It's just a sign, I think, of the time of the season, of the intensity, the demands in practice, right? And I think in those battle drills, at this time of the year, you're pushing each other. And I feel like this one fades out pretty quickly. But I just feel like it's an indication, right? This team was on a bit of a slide. They know they need to be far better if they're going to remain in a playoff spot. So this is just a sign. You know what? I think as teammates, too, demanding more. Like, if you don't see what you want from your teammates, you've got to demand more in these moments in between games.
I've seen this a few times in my career, and it's usually when the team's struggling, and it's usually, I don't know why, but between a defenseman, a tough, hard-nosed defenseman, and a forward. Think Bortuzzo and Samford years ago, that everybody's claims sparked the St. Louis series. And it comes down to competing and wanting maybe some of your skill guys to play a little bit harder when you're not winning. Like, that seems to always be the common thread. But it worked for Detroit because they won today. Mm-hmm. Another guy they have who's uber competitive is David Perron. And I'm watching the game today, and I know this personality. You watch him here. He gets cross-checked in the back here, and there's no call, and it ends up setting up a grade A for Buffalo. This was a huge game, standing-wise. Implications in the wild card. Perron yells at the referee. Now he's yelling at the linesman because he missed that too many men call. He takes his helmet off. He's fired up. He's engaged into the game. And then you'll see him towards the end of the game. Buffalo pulls the goaltender. Dahlin is on the ice for 2.5 minutes. He's going to ice this puck. Then he tries to pull a fast one, go to the bench, pretend he was changing, sit down. The linesman had to come over the ref and say, get back on the ice. I know you're on here. And then watch Perron's waiting. He knows he's doing a stall tactic. Gonna put a little shoulder into him. So he yelled at the ref. He yelled at the linesman. He yelled at Dahlin. I used to carpool with him, and he would yell at me if I didn't pick the right lane. Like, get in that lane, get in that lane. Like, he's just an intense guy. He's won with St. Louis. He lost in the finals with Vegas. And he's trying to help a young team get into the playoffs.
And you can tell the officials respect him because they didn't tell him to shut up or anything, right? Because normally they'll, you stop it right now or whatever, I'll give you 2, or they just let him go on because they knew he is right.
But the description intensity, I think that's what even came out of the Canucks, sort of moment earlier this week. That's what they said, even the coaching staff. They said, okay, let's see this as intensity within our group.
So another talk of the town was John Hines decides to pull his goalie, and some say he should have done it in regulation, but regardless, he did do it in a key moment for the Wild.
But I also feel like you've got more space in overtime. And so, yes, people are saying, is this too risky? Well, yes, there's a risk to it, but I also feel like this call, this is belief in your team. Yes, it's very assertive, but when you have all of this space in a 4-on-3, I like the call. I mean, it paid off for them. Boldy gets the overtime winner. I mean, you think about the standings, these decisions that are being made, right? Nashville's ahead of them in the standings. They need the points. It's bold, but I feel like that's trust in your team. I like it.
I like it too. Fedorov did it in the KHL this year, and he won as well. Did it in overtime. I do agree with Jeff Merrick, and he made the comment this week, though, it might be a better decision to do it still in regulation.
You just don't have the space.
I like the unpredictability about it, too. Like, I like the space. I think 3-on-3, and you create a 4-on-3. A 5-on-4, there's not as much room. And it's a bit of a sneak attack. So usually when you have a 4-on-3 kill, you put out your 3 penalty killers that know what they're doing. In that case, those are 3 guys that don't necessarily know what they're doing.
Islanders lost their game today, but they got a point out of the game because the guy who pulls his goalies with 10 to go, Patrick Roy, introduced the concept, and he pulled his goalie to go 6-on-4. Bo Horvat, a huge goal for New York. So it is that time of the year when teams are pulling out the tactics and pulling out some of the spirit of what's required, including those Wild with that come from behinds. tonight. The Edmonton Oilers, 37-12-2 under Chris Knobloch. They sit in second place in their division behind Vancouver, who could move to first in the NHL with a win tonight. And we've got Winnipeg, Colorado, Dallas, all at 89 points in the Central Division. So huge games all around for the Avalanche and the Oilers. For the Capitals, Spencer Carberry's from Victoria, so that's kind of a home turf game for Washington for him. All ahead tonight on Hockey Night in Canada. Again, that's Line Change, presented by Sports Interaction, your homegrown sportsbook. Bet local. The second, next.
afternoon, losing in overtime to the Senators, being bumped out of the wild card spot by the Wings. A chance to bounce back tomorrow afternoon against their rivals, the Rangers, 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Sportsnet 360. Well, Seth Jarvis gets to spend his offseason taking instruction from his older brother, Caden, who is a video and skills development coach with the Vancouver Giants of the WHL. Caden said Seth has gotten better over time at taking his advice. He knows he's not just an older brother trying to give him a hard time. Caden is 6 years older, so when they were kids, their parents had one rule for Seth. If you're going to play with the big boys, no whining, no complaining. And maybe that's why he was able to break into the NHL at age 19 and stay here, Chris.
Just doing an inventory here of Steve Martin, the linesman, I don't believe has come out for the second period. So the officiating crew down a man. Dan O'Rourke, Steve Kazari, the referees, and
they'll be busy.
Yeah,
they'll be busy. It's amazing the job the linesmen do to get on the line, make sure that they go side to side with the speed of the game. And now, not sure exactly how they identify which referee will be the helper, but both Dan O'Rourke went and talked to both benches so that at least the coaches are aware that they're down a man.
Shots 9-8 in the first period, Carolina. Shot attempts 2018 Toronto. 2 seconds of power play time to start the second period. Onto the ice comes Dewar, and the Leafs back at full strength. Both teams 0 for 2 on the power play so far tonight. Nate just gives that away. Gregor intercepts, but the pass back out to center onto the left wing, and Dewar will send it around. Gregor going after that, bumping with Slavin. Liljegren along the boards and backed up there by Kemp. Kachetkov out of the net, and around it goes past Kemp, and out comes Carolina. Turning back is Kuznetsov. Offensive zone time just about dead even. What happened there? There's Natchez and Dewar.
I think Dewar got his legs. Yeah, he got his legs in there, and I think he was afraid he was going to take a penalty, and he fell down like he was a little bit injured, and no arm went up.
Away from the puck, here's Nylander to the attack, centered that. It'll come to McMahon, and he fires it right on, and that'll be held by Kachetkov.
You got to think Dewar in his mind, okay, I'm out of the penalty box. I got to get running over, and he goes right there. I got to change here, but look, as he stops up, he gets the skate on skate and then goes face first. He was awfully happy to see no arm go up, and doesn't look like he's any worse for wear. His sole purpose was to get quickly back to the bench from the penalty box.
Carolina, the #1 team in the second period this year. They're plus 28. The Maple Leafs tied for second in goals scored in the second period with Vancouver. Colorado up to 90 now. The Leafs with 85 second period goals. Here's McMahon trying to work his way in. Fresh off that new contract extension. And up there on the second line with Domi and Nylander.
Be interested to see this line. I thought they were the most effective early on, but then you had the power plays that kind of took them out of the rhythm, and see if they can get that continuity back here in the second. I like their start to the first anyway.
Spun down the ice by Jarvis. First man to it, Martinook. Back to Jarvis. Tucked along the boards with Labushkin. Martinook around, and it comes to Burns. Sends that wide. Aho steps up. He's stopped on the play. His usual running mate, Teuvo Teravainen, not in the lineup for Carolina tonight. Aho, their leading scorer, hands it off to Burns in front. Backhand stopped by Samsonov as Svechnikov had a look.
Boy, and there's a little bit of blown coverage there that left Svechnikov all by himself in the slot. It just happened to get it on the backhand. I don't think that rotation, look at all the white sweaters. Matthews gets caught standing watching, didn't realize that Riley has fast down at the side of the net, and that left Svechnikov. You can see the quick reaction by Burns. Pass is rolling on the backhand, and good, no panic there by Samsonov to be in a good position and make the save.
Fifth slot shot opportunity for Carolina in the game. The face-off not done properly, so they'll do it over again, and Aho gets chased. Last time these two teams met, Aho was on a real roll. He had 3 points in the game against Toronto, a 22-point month for the leading scorer for the Hurricanes, who gives it to Svechnikov. In behind the net, slowed up by McCabe, but stays with it. Back to the line, that shot by Slavin, and Samsonov stretches out to cover with Aho on the doorstep.
Well, here's the challenge with the Hurricanes, and I mentioned this deep pair of Slavin and Burns. You know, he laughed at Burns. Yeah, okay, he was a forward early on, but they're just happy to join. And so you got bodies turning, you got defensemen coming down, and so defensively, just a little bit of a hesitation, and then that opened up the point shot from Slavin as Burns came down the opposite side. Good job of Samsonov dropping the stick and just grabbing it with his blocker to get the whistle.
Liljegren flipped it to the line, but not out. Now Matthews can't clear. Checked by Kuznetsov, and Nietzsche's shot is absorbed by Samsonov.
There's been a little bit of a sloppy stretch here for this line. Just the turnover here. Liljegren can't get it all the way out. A kick in, and then Matthews trying to slide it over to get maybe a chance at the other way. You saw his quick reaction, realizing, uh-oh, I got to get back. He got the stick in there and didn't allow a great shot. And Samsonov another save and holding on.
This line trapped 46 seconds in the first period and have been over a minute now here in the second. Unable to get out of their own zone. Here's Orlov. Got slowed up by Holmberg, and now Liljegren is out. Timothy Liljegren fires it in. He scored against Carolina in the first meeting in December. That puck played to the line, and in the midst of a change as Lyubushkin comes on, and Liljegren hits off. That pass hit a leg, and Martinook's in now. Jordan Martinook in behind the net in front. And Lyubushkin knocked that away, and Morgan Riley hits north, along with Doby trying to barge through. Kachetkov not able to clear. Doby a chance, and Kachetkov had to bail himself out with a tough stop.
Well, a turnover is equal opportunity on both sides. A turnover by the Leafs gives a chance at the one end, and here Lyubushkin looking up, trying to throw it in the middle at the backhand. A nice job of Martinook, not only making the play, but then going around into the slot. Lyubushkin able to turn it over, and then Kachetkov throwing it right up the middle. And there's a great recovery save as Domi right in that inner slot area with the quick release. But a nice save.
Off the draw, it's rattled down the ice. Race for that. No icing. And it's centered. Svechnikov fired across. I wonder with two linesmen if that would have been an icing call against Carolina.
Jackpot City. Casino games perfectly made for you.
Chris, that's a great point. Steve Kazari goes right over to the linesman there and says, you know, what's my read on that? Wow. He was in position. I think he was the one. Kazari was the official who was down there, and he called it off. But the adjustments have to be made with short a man.
Joel Edmondson up ahead off the glove of Gregor, who able to maintain control and dump it inside the line. Quickly cleared by Carolina. On the rush. Oh, and he whipped that just wide. Nice set play there by the Canes at the Leaf line. Edmondson to Liljegren. Crashing into Shea. It gets behind him, but Camp up ahead. Dewar gets a step. Here's Connor Dewar with Gregor. Charging in behind the net, trying to take it away from Aho. Flips it towards Kemp, to the line in the skates of Brody. He'll have to reset at center ice. Dumped back into Carolina territory, and as we expected, not a whole lot of room for the most part between these two teams. John Tavares stands after it. Robertson unable to glove that down. Here comes Fast along with Kotkaniemi off his skate, and a lead feed. Tavares in behind. Tavares scores! More goals and points against Carolina than any other team, and John Tavares has the icebreaker tonight.
Yeah, you saw the look of the coach. Fast as a minute 1:25 into a shift. You've got to get this puck deep. Instead, it's a turnover, a bad pass. Tavares on the change, gets behind the D, and just a great shot. You know, as a lefty coming down, watch how he moves the puck about 3.5 feet from his right. Gets it on his backhand, and the quick release gets it up and over the blocker. But that one was sealed by the turnover, the offensive line by Fast. That quick transition back the other way, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Leafs.
4th in 7 games of the month of March for the Leaf captain. 21 on the year for John Tavares. 29 goals, and now 55 points against Carolina in this, his 47th career game against the Canes. Riley back in his own zone. Up ahead, a nice feed. Here's Holmberg over the line, slaloming in with Matthews, trying to turn away from the checking of Burns. In behind for Bertuzzi. Moving up is Liljegren. The puck slides to Holmberg, who covers the point. Across for Edmondson, off the blocker of Kochetkov, back into the corner. Edmondson, that knocked down high stick, wasn't it? And indeed, as the puck is touched, and now Bertuzzi getting involved in front of the Leaf bench. As Brendan Lemieux and Bertuzzi will exchange some malarkey.
Great timing there by Tavares as he came off the bench. You know, you're looking and expecting this one, or sorry, as he came in from deep, he's thinking, okay, I got to get back, maybe even make a change. And instead, all of a sudden, it's the Carolina defenseman who makes the change. You don't get it deep. And I thought he'd come right from the bench. Instead, he was in on the forecheck first and just trailing the play and read it perfectly and finished it off. Amazingly, 14 20-goal seasons for John Tavares.
Had 8 shots against Philadelphia 2 nights ago, did not score. Scores on his first shot tonight.
There you go. Quality, not quantity, isn't it? You know, you can look at that, and only Ovechkin, Crosby, and Kane. Ovechkin with 18 of the active players, 20-goal seasons. Crosby with 16, Patrick Kane with 15. Pretty darn good company.
An icing call against the Canes brings it back into Carolina ice as Max Domi digs in against Jordan Staal. Leafs win the draw, but they're going to do it again. And Domi getting waved.
No, it must not have hit the ice, because although the icing, it must have been Stahl's side that got it, so they couldn't make the change of the centerman.
Nylander and McMahon changed sides, and Nylander sends it wide of the net, and out comes Martinook. The former Vancouver Giant will deposit it down in the Leaf zone. There's Jarvis fencing with Riley. Puck loose, and Nylander's on it. Again, William Nylander, next point, will match the career high he set a year ago, looking for his 87th point here tonight. And it might be right here. Nylander in and scores! Back-to-back breakaway goals. 88 down to the gate. And the Leafs lead 2-0.
You called that one, didn't you, Chris? But you saw the look of Rod Brindamore. Another turnover just outside the offensive line. Nylander, just great patience. He gets Kochetkov to move to his left and bite on this one. Nice little chip pass that he comes in, and he knew exactly what he was going to do. He made it look like he was going to go across the net to the right. Got his head up the entire way, and watch the quick little stop back. Most important play there. He gets it up into the top third of the net, and is tying that career high. What a great 3 years he's had with 80+ in 3 straight.
36th goal of the year. Tavares back to work along with Nyes. Tried to feed the point. McKeeb a whack at it, couldn't hold the zone. And here come the Hurricanes back in. A centering pass, and Shea unable to get the shot away as Robertson got back defensively. Now it's McCabe to the red line, sends it deep, and Kochetkov out to play that. And a nice pass ahead to Natchez. bumped that for Kuznetsov onto the right side, and that's off Riley. And out of play, the Leaf goals come 1 minute and 40 seconds apart. So Tavares with his 21st, Nylander with his 36th. 2-0 Toronto.
Sierra, there are trucks, and then there's the truck, and there is no secret that John Tavares over the course of his career has done the bulk of his work around the net. Even though it hasn't been his most productive season, he's right there tied with Nathan McKinnon for second most slot shots this season, and it's because of this one here tonight getting things going for Toronto. We also talked before the season doing a lot of work with Paul Matheson, the Leafs skating coach. That was on display there as well, and cutting in alone to open things for Toronto, Chris.
Surprised a lot of people that.
Yeah, that surprised me. That's quite a pair to be coupled with, and that's his area on the power play more so. But obviously, you're doing a whole lot 5-on-5 to be in that inner slot to get that many chances.
So a pair of breakaway goals have the Leafs on top. Carolina trying to respond here. That one off the goal stick of Samsonov. Far side Aho checked there. And it's bumped out by Dewar. Here's Gregor. You know, he's looking to make an impact to try and stay in the lineup. Dewar deflects that up onto the mesh in behind the Carolina net.
Yeah, another fourth line combination, as you mentioned. And so anytime you've been sitting out for Gregor, you put your work in, you go into the gym, you keep a positive attitude. But man, when you get your chance to get back into the lineup, you just hope that you have a couple of good shifts early, and we've often said the first shift of the game for the fourth line is maybe one of their most important for each period, to give that coach the confidence that this line's going to do okay.
There's Holmberg in front, and that deflect high across the goal most. Lilligren puts it right on. Holmberg with the retrieval of the rebound as he works against Shea, who knocked him off balance. But Holmberg helped out by Bertuzzi. That gets past Edmondson. He's got to scramble back and knock it away from Jarvis. Up ahead, nicely played off the skate by Holmberg, but checked there by Stahl. Jarvis back in, whipped it wide. Up for Bertuzzi. And now Holmberg dumps it in. Matthews gives chase. Up against Kuznetsov. Knocked down by Bertuzzi. And Kuznetsov couldn't find it. Matthews back in. Matthews shooting. And that's just off target. Brett Pesce up for Jarvis at center. And coming back defensively, Tavares. Near side it goes, and Nick Robertson will bank it in. Nice on it. Robertson goes to the front of the net. Here's Robertson trying to center it. And Tavares loose. Now Tavares from the corner. Looking to cycle it back, tied up there by Kuznetsov. Natchez, an outlet, and here comes Orlov. Ahead for Gensel. Down goes Natchez, tripped over the stick of Nyes. And the Leafs are going to be penalized here as Domi touches the puck.
Tap into the nonstop action with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app and feel the roar of the king of sportsbooks.
Well, quick transition there, and look at Marty Natchez, just that quick couple of strides. Now he's got a little napping for just a split second, and once he saw that 88 going by him, he tried to grab him to slow him down, and Natchez goes down, and it's Nyes going to the box.
So the third power play for Carolina. 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for their last 9, 1 for their last 16. Neither power play's been clicking of late, and yet they are 2 of the top 5 in the league.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Aho's got it down low. Back from Jarvis. Burns up top. Rink wide, Svechnikov. He stumbled. Kept alive by Burns and nearly had Aho with the lane to the net. Good play by Dewar, knocking Svechnikov down. But it's dug out by Carolina. Aho in front. Kicked away by Samsonov. And now a steal by Kemp, who clears.
Good job of aggressiveness in the corner. They lost the puck battle, but did a good job of coming back to the front of the net. You saw Aho having to wait and hold on to see if his man could get there first, and then good aggression at the other side to get the turnover and clear.
Burns in deep. It goes around to the far side. Svechnikov up high. Aho blocked there by Lyubushkin. And away goes Nylander. He's got Holmberg with him. William Nylander. And he missed on the short side. It ends up out of play as Holmberg tried to give him an option on the left flank.
And it almost looked like Nylander had changed his mind about 2 or 3 times. At first he thought it was going to be a 3-on-1, and then Lyubushkin went for a change. Now you got to focus on the 2-on-1, but you can see Svechnikov took it away by coming back and taking Holmberg away. That was a good opportunity. That was thwarted by a good back check and back pressure by Svechnikov. A little skate problem there for Kochetkov. Not often do you see the way Nylander's been going. He has so many of those opportunities from either side, and he looks so confident with it. He scored on the other side coming in all alone. I just think that there's too many things going through his mind, and the options changed as he came. He's just saying to Lyubushkin, why did you change? I wanted you as an option back there.
He scored tonight. His brother has scored tonight. Alex Nylander for Columbus has scored his 7th in 11 games for the Columbus Blue Jackets. From the Hurricanes, that shot handled by Samsonov, who covers as Natchez flies in again on that right wing.
Yeah, you really see the speed of Natchez and the way that he opens up some ice. Just a quick hesitation to one side, speed to the outside, but at least Edmondson at least gets a stick in there. So Natchez knows he can't hold that and drive to the net and maybe cut across. Instead, it forces a shot, and Samsonov in really good position. The calmness of Samsonov is so evident since his return, and just easily makes that save.
Off the draw, McMahon jumped it, and he may have a break. Bobby McMahon in, backhand, and it went wide. What a short-handed chance as McMahon kicked it into high gear.
Boy, shot out of the cannon there, wasn't he? When he gets that big body moving, he can get his speed up. That was an excellent individual effort.
36.3 kilometers an hour for Bobby McMahon on that dash. Here's Natchez over the line. The pass came back to him, and now Matthews maybe has a break. Getting back to Orlov. Matthews in, and that one's stopped by Kochetkov. Back at full strength. The Leafs with a short-handed chance, and then one just as the penalty came to an end. I think it would have been even strength.
I think by that time the penalty was done, but there's a momentum kill for Carolina on a great kill by the Toronto Maple Leafs, which gives them a jump here coming.
Here's Robertson trying to sauce it through for Tavares. Comes around, and Jordan Staal will exit for Carolina. Tied up there, Robertson had thoughts tied up, and maybe another break for Tavares. In too deep, Robertson scores! in the lineup and back on the score sheet.
And Chris, that's the third time now that when Nick Robertson has been away from the lineup and come back in, that he's come in the first game scored. Sheldon Keefe's talked about it over and over again. He seems to have that ability to do something positive. But here's the third turnover at the offensive line that ends up in the back of the net for the Carolina Hurricanes. Great effort by John Tavares. Didn't have the speed, but he won the puck battle, protected it to the outside, and then that little shuttle pass and a quick high shot up and over the glove. But Rod Brind'Amour has seen enough of that. 3 offensive blue line turnovers make this a 3-0 game.
9th of the year for Robertson, and this is 42nd game, and he has scored in both against the Hurricanes this season.
And if you listen to Sheldon Keefe, that's what he talked about. Yep. I love it when he comes back in the lineup. He seems to find a way to make an impact, and he has again.
Robertson hoping to stay in the lineup as the Leafs have scored 3 in the second and lead 3-0. An emergency replacement. Mark Shuchek has checked in place of Steve Barton, who was injured in the first period. And it might be hard to keep track because he's wearing Tyson Baker's backup jersey. So we've got a pair of 88s.
He's usually number 92. It's interesting. We'll have to get the backstory later on, but you wonder, the Call of Duty, he lived close, but maybe didn't have all of his equipment, but he's been smiling ever since that whole commercial break, going down to the benches. And look at that face. He's excited. He didn't expect to be playing tonight.
Like me when I find out I got an extra game fee. So they announced the Nick Robertson goal. Just over 7.5 minutes to go here in the second period. It's been a big one for the Leafs. McMahon dumps it down the ice right on Kachetkov. Played it past Domi and up to center. Here's McMahon turning and nearly had Nylander sprung again. Here's the other 88 on the ice. William Nylander behind the net. Checked by Orlov. Orlov turns back towards Nylander and gets tied up there. Nylander. Domi stopped by Kachetkov. Another chance for Max Domi, who has 5 of his 8 goals this season on Saturday night.
Yeah, he's talking to himself going back to the bench. What a great play, though, by Nylander. Just won the battle for the puck goal behind the net and made a beautiful pass in front. No look right on the tape.
Bertuzzi steers that off the boards and out. One back in by Slavin. Here is Stahl trying to get loose. Hands it off to Vost. Back to Burns, shooting, and rebound scores. So Carolina gets on the board as Martinook is able to cash a loose puck in the crease. And it's 3-1.
Oh boy, what a turn of momentum that is. It looked like for sure the Leafs are going to go up another one battle behind it. Look at Nylander quickly jump on that quick turnaround pass, and Kochetkov able to somehow get the glove on it. And this is one that an innocent looking play. Burns made sure he got that puck through. You know, Burns has a heck of a slap shot. That's sort of a half snapper, and you can see the rebound was right there. The box out in front, not quite able to get the stick of Martinook. And that's a much needed goal from a momentum standpoint. Rod Brind'Amour hasn't had many good looks tonight, but there's one that it was almost a 4-0 game, and instead the Hurricanes get themselves into the game.
Martinook has his 12th. 11 of them have come since the calendar turned to 2024. And so now a 2-goal Toronto lead. Martinook scored a minute 24 after the Robertson third goal for Toronto. Nice at center. Liljegren a second chance to get it ahead. Tavares waiting as Robertson put it on goal. And Nyes unable to come up with that rebound.
Great rebound control by Kochetkov. He kicked that pad out to make sure the puck went to the right.
Oh, giveaway in front. And Samsonov. Huge stop. And the Leafs able to clear. What a tough stop for Samsonov at a key time.
Oh boy, was it ever. He just threw that left pad out there in desperation and somehow got a piece of that one.
So the Hurricanes came close to getting one to get within one. Another turnover. Swung through the blue paint. Leafs trying to clear it. Dewar able to force that out. Here's Gregor on it. He's checked. It's Svechnikov. Pass cut off by Dewar. Back in for Toronto. That pass for Gregor was intercepted by Svechnikov. And he just gets it deep. 5:05 left here in the second. Pace starts to quicken. McCabe unable to clear. Orlov jumping up for Carolina. There's Orlov sending across the goal mouth. And it's Gregor rolling it down the ice. Shouldn't be enough for icing. Leafs get a change. 23-21. The shots favor Carolina. All the scoring in the second period. Dmitry Orlov back to work. Thursday, for the first time, got over in the plus territory as a member of the Canes. And starting to amp his game up. Down low it goes. Front of the net, Lemieux trying to create some room, but that's rolled back to the Carolina line.
Kotkaniemi tried a little bank one there, short side from behind the net, but Samsonov had his pad tight against the post and nothing to bounce it off of.
That one sent to center where Matthews waits for it. McMahon over the line. Here's Bobby McMahon in front. Matthews off the post on a redirect. Nice pass by McMahon. And now he heads off. The full Matthews line comes on with Bertuzzi and Holmberg. Holmberg tying up Kotkaniemi. Back is Edmondson with Fast. Breathing down on him. It'll be Liljegren, and that pass broken up by Stahl. Here's Fast. And a point shot off the leg wide to the far side for Shea. And now from distance, a puck in front, another right pad stop. Samsonov with two impressive saves since the 3-1 goal for Carolina.
Yeah, there's a turnover by Liljegren that gave a second chance offense there for the Hurricanes. And Samsonov with the bailout.
Edmondson up the boards. That out at center. David Kamp's got it. He'll head in. Solo mission. Leafs changing behind him. And now Kamp will leave it in the corner for Gregor. Dewar battling for position in front. Gregor spinning away from Fast. In behind the net. Works it up high for Lyubushkin. Across Riley. Back to Lyubushkin shooting. Tipped in front. Big stop by Kochetkov off a tip by Gregor.
Kochetkov had just got knocked down too, and the official on the side was making indication that if that one had gone in, I don't think it was going to count, but still somehow Kochetkov able to get the save. Couple of good chances though early on. The next goal just so important. Here's Jarvis with the bounce back pass to Gensel, couldn't quite get it up and over, and then McMahon, little tip by Matthews off the post and out.
Starts over his career with injuries and bouncing between the Leafs and the Marlies. He made it clear he wasn't happy with being sent down recently, but he tried to make the most of his time practicing on his own, stayed in his routine. He's done a lot of work this year in getting his mind into the right place. John Tavares said Robertson is someone who just keeps coming back. His passion for the game continues to drive him, so fitting that those two connect for a goal here in the second period tonight, Chris.
Made it clear he wants to play. I think there were some people that don't think he should have said that publicly, but
yeah, I think at this stage especially, it's not like this is his first go-around. He's been living in this sort of semi-cycle for quite some time, and I think that's totally acceptable. And even the head coach, I mentioned it, I mean, you've heard Sheldon Keefe a number of times in defense of Robertson. You know, he's also the guy that doesn't have to clear waivers, so you know he's going to be the one that goes down, and when he comes up, he comes up with some good efforts. So the playoffs, you know, you look ahead and you say you want to be one of those starting guys, but you also know that injuries happen and you've got to be prepared to play at a high level so that the coach can trust you and get you in there.
Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the second. 8th time this year the Leafs have scored at least 3 goals in the second period. Here come the Leafs back in. Bertuzzi, Matthews knocked down, heading to the net, so Bertuzzi holds. Leafs had 3 in the first, 3 in the third against Philadelphia. Put up 3 here in the middle frame against Carolina. And Samsonov will cover up on that. Well, with the regular season less than 2 weeks away, the Blue Jays continue their spring training schedule against the Twins tomorrow, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on Sportsnet.
Now, Matthews wanted a penalty there. I think he could have justified getting one. He had a good net drive, and Brady Shea just got underneath him and took a piece of him out and took away any chance for that puck to get to him.
Needs a goal tonight to get back on 70-goal pace. As if 69 is
yeah, or even 60. Forget about 70, even 60.
Orlov to the right side, a centering pass looking for Natchez. And now Kuznetsov. Chatfield. That shot got through to the net. And Chatfield has it again. Leafs in their own zone here as Orlov stumbles. And a penalty call on the play. Well, he stumbled on his own.
I think
so
that's
the fans.
Exactly. You know, Orlov did a great job of trying to control that and move his body to get a shot. And I think this was all generated by himself. McCabe thinks so as well. We'll have to get a look. The call is trip. Let's take a look. Their toes touched each other, but you could see the quick turnaround as he's trying to get back the other side. That's right foot on right foot. So they knock toes together, and McCabe goes down, and Orlov gives the Hurricanes an opportunity here on the power play.
That stick position made it tough for the official, and Rod Brind'Amour's team gets a call with a minute 9 to go in the period. Leafs had a terrific kill, and maybe get another chance here. Dewar, short-handed, held and couldn't get the shot away in, just a little too deep.
Boy, showed some speed there too, just the determination off the draw, and Burns just was able to push him enough to the outside, Chris, that he wasn't able to find an angle to get that shot off of sprawling Kochetkov.
Mentioned last Saturday, does have a short-handed goal. It came against Montreal. Around it goes to Gensel. Leafs trying to get out of the period with a 2-goal lead. Carolina trying to cut that advantage in half. Burns fumbled it, and they'll have to reboot down at center. Fired in by Aho. Couple dozen seconds to go. Back to the line for Burns, who assisted on the lone Carolina marker. In fact, the defenseman has assisted on all 4 goals in this game. Burns gets it back. Late stages of the period. Aho into the slot, gets a stop, rebound scored with 2.7. Seth Jarvis, it's a 1-goal game.
A game, what a change in the game it could have been. Dewar, with the excellent individual effort, is shaking his head. Watch right off the draw, he just shoots out. Burns was thinking going backwards, now he's in a foot race. Holds it to the outside, unable to find the angle, and then the dying seconds here. Good patience by Aho. One great save there by Samsonov, but on the doorstep, Jarvis left all alone. Gets it up and over as Brody can't quite get there in time. Jarvis with the backhand up and over the pad of Samsonov.
Well, that stings. The power play goal at 19:57. Jarvis with his 22nd from Gensel, and Aho, after 3 in a row by the Maple Leafs, a 2-goal response by the Hurricanes. Shots 27-23 Carolina through 40 minutes. Saturday headlines coming up with Elliot Friedman. We're through 2, and it's 3-2 Toronto.
We're on the eve of St. Paddy's. The home team celebrating 3-0 leads, and now it's tight through 3-2 in both cases. We'll have the panel in just a second. Elliot Friedman, our Saturday headlines, and Elliot, Martin St. Louis, we understood from the early part of the afternoon he had to leave the team. Do you know anything, or can you help us?
No, we'll just respect the family's privacy there, Ron, but in case you did not hear this earlier, you're not watching Calgary, Montreal, they announced that Martin St. Louis was taking an indefinite leave from the team, and Trevor Letowski is coaching the Canadians tonight and for the foreseeable future, and we'll just respect the family's privacy and wish them all the best. One other injury note we did want to touch on is that, a lot of Toronto fans wondering about Mitch Marner. Doesn't sound like that is anything serious, and he should be ramping up his skating next week, Ron.
Thanks, Elliot, on that, and echo the sentiments for Marty. So you did some reporting on Atlanta back in the picture. How about the Arizona Coyotes situation, Elliot?
Okay, well, Ron, spent a lot of time looking into this week, and we've reached a fork in the road for the Arizona Coyotes. Now, the first one, which is the one I think that the NHL prefers and the ownership there prefers, is that they win the auction that we now know is going to happen, and they buy the land and eventually build the arena, and the Arizona Coyotes stay in Arizona. And I've been told multiple times this week, do not underestimate Arizona ownership's willingness to do this and to prove that it can do this. However, there is also an admission that the status quo cannot continue. And there are a lot of variables here, and that is that the auction won't take place until June. What happens if the Coyotes don't win it? There's a lot of unsure nature about what the timeline would be if they do win it and how long it would take. So as a result of that, especially if the Coyotes don't win the auction, relocation will be on the table. And so there are parallel conversations going on right now. One for the Coyotes to go ahead and win the auction and stay there, and the other for what happens if they don't end up winning the auction and what the future would be. And in that case, Ron, relocation would be on the table, and we'll see how this goes. But again, the Coyotes maintain it is their goal to win the auction and stay in the state.
We were watching Rod Brindamore, and we're expecting him to say we could be down 20-0 because if they didn't score that power play goal, he'd have retired here at the second intermission. But he's obviously in line for a contract. What are you hearing?
Well, we asked him this morning, just said, where do things stand? And he was pretty tight-lipped. He just said he's optimistic. But one of the things I was reminded in looking into this is the last time around, he said he wanted his assistant coaches to be taken care of. And even though he would not talk about that today, I understand that remains one of the issues. He wants his assistant coaches to be taken care of, and that's what he's waiting for before he signs on the dotted line, Ron.
Elliot Friedman, the Saturday headlines. So Kevin Wench pick up on the power play woes for Carolina, and then they did bail out at the end.
Yeah, we created this pack until 2.7 seconds left, but we're going to stick with it, and we're going to show all the chances that Toronto penalty kill has generated. And you don't expect to get these chances, they're bonuses. And honestly, I attribute them to usually a good offensive read by F1 and then sloppiness by the power play. So that's why you have guys like Nylander and Matthews out there and Marner at times. But F1 on the penalty kill, understand, that's the one person who usually has free reign. The structure comes from the D and the second forward. F1 gets to make these reads, make a play, understand what they're trying to do, disrupt down the ice. And when you create a lot of these chances, they're obviously a bonus. The problem is you don't score in any of them. There's 5 chances right there. And then with time ticking down, it's almost inevitable that the power play is going to get a greasy one, which they did. So now it's 3-2. Penalty kill has done a pretty good job up to now. It's just tough to give that one up with 2.7 left.
And so, Kevin, you talked about some of those opportunities, a couple of them breakaways with pressure where they didn't capitalize. So, yes, it's nice to get breakaways, but you've got to make sure that you're making nice decisions with those opportunities so you can bury a goal. Here's some great examples of how they did very well. Tavares gets the pass at the blue line. He knows how quickly the pressure is coming. He knows, he sees them coming. I've got a little bit of time, but I'm going to keep the puck far enough ahead of me so that Slavin can't come in and poke that puck. Decides to go for the quick release. On this one, Nylander coming in from a different angle, all kinds of speed, but great work with his feet. Look, this is the key position. Wide stance, hands ready for anything. He teases the far post. He only goes about halfway across the crease, but look at his right blade of his skates as well. This is key, your toe caps towards the goaltender so he can do the quick cut back. I mean, a beautiful top shelf, but great decision making under pressure for 2 beautiful goals.
You ever have a bad shift before?
Probably not as many as
You
you.
ever have a bad period?
Never.
You ever have a bad shift?
Oh, yes.
So the ability to recover from a bad shift, it's inevitable. The longer you play, you will have bad shifts. So Lyubushkin has a really bad shift. His job as a defensive defenseman is defend, protect the puck. He's going to throw 2 pizzas up the middle here in one shift. And he doesn't get burned. Samsonov makes the great save later on in that shift. Now he's sinking high percentage. He just threw one away. Another turnover almost in the back of the net. So how do you recover? You go to the bench, you take a deep breath. This is his next shift. The poise on the blue line. He gets his puck head up, looking for a shot tip. Great recovery shift for Lyubushkin at the end of the period after 2 turnovers. The ability to recover, it's all mental.
It is. Connor Brown, we'll do it in the late games, but his rally the other night to score his first goal was sensational. How about over at Calgary?
Okay, so Ryan Huska earlier this week was critical. He was asked about his young players, and he was critical of his veterans, saying they need to be better. They're in a 3-game losing streak. So last game, Blake Coleman had 2 goals. Tonight, it's Michael Backlund, the captain, that has had a really strong game. So you see, late in the first period, a double deflection. Michael Backlund gets his 14th of the season. And then just 11 seconds in, watch this great play to lift the stick of Gooley, and then the puck from Uyghur goes in front. This just 11 seconds into the second period, Michael Backlund gets his 15th of the season. So tons of leadership from the Flames veterans.
Backlund's got a tough job, right? This is a team that's obviously not going to make the playoffs. And those are tough situations when you're the captain and you have to keep everyone together. And if they win down the stretch, great. It'll be a little bit easier. If they start losing, it's going to be tough to keep that team together, and that's going to be his job as the captain.
But continue to play with that edge. And in some of those plays, it's the work even away from the puck when you don't have it in terms of keeping some of the energy high, right? And the morale high.
The difference between the two teams, too, right? We haven't really talked about that. Like, Montreal's trajectory's going up, right? They're going into next season. They're like, we're young. We're getting better every year. Calgary, what are they going to do next year, right? They've had a little bit of a rebirth.
Well, I'll ask you, because I think Rasmus Anderson, Kelly, Mackenzie Weegar, the veterans Blake Coleman, and Jacob Markstrom still seem to be bought in.
Well, yeah, they have. Rasmus Anderson is really critical of himself Wednesday after that Tuesday bad loss, and he was much better Thursday. Much better.
ADH is a theme tonight, by the way. Mangiapane's looking great, Nylander's looking great, and the 2 linesmen in Toronto wearing 88. All right, when we come back, the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup. You don't want to miss that sensational victory. This team that won did close to 3,000 good deeds. We'll have that for you when we return to our second intermission on Hockey Night in Canada, presented by Rogers. and they could get $100,000 for the charity of their choice. None of the good deeds went unnoticed, but as mentioned, you'll see in this graphic about 1,350 when we were doing the table. It got to over 2,500 good deeds. We're proud to announce the 2024 Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup champions are the Huntsville U13 Sting Black.
Hi everybody, we are the Huntsville Sting U13 Black team.
Coach.
Just amazing. Congrats, U13 Huntsville Sting Black from Huntsville, Ontario, about 2.5 hours north of Toronto. The manager, Sarah Roberts, the coach, Paul Goida. There are the young women who were just so inspirational. They would collect garbage. They donated clothing. They did 1,700 books were donated. And some of the young U13s, we awarded them books by Angela James and Sammy Jo Small and Cassie Campbell Pascal. Kevin Bieksa and I met the team, met the coaches today. Kevin had all kinds of great advice. Food for Kids is the charity of choice. It provides packaged food for kids 4 to 13 who have limited or no access to food each weekend. So that's what they have chosen to do with $100,000. Congrats once again to our 2024 Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup champions from Huntsville. The third period of the game you're enjoying is next.
When you visit Audible, you can do anything. Chase your thrills. Journey into the great unknown.
Whoa.
And if you're lucky, discover something new to love. Audible, ignite your imagination.
This is the $1 million season!
Network. Most of the action so far tonight coming in the second period. The Leafs converting on 2 of their 4 breakaways. Hurricanes doing most of their work off the cycle, and it's a 1-goal game before the start of the third period. Thursday night at home, this was the scene on the bench just prior to puck drop. Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov teammates just going to town on the smelling salts, making sure they're ready from the jump. Perhaps the smelling salts tonight for the entire team did not kick in until a little way past the midway point of the second period. Down 3 goals, but then they got rolling. Goals from Jordan Martin and Seth Jarvis just before the horn. We've made it a 1-goal game here with 20 minutes to go, Chris.
And Craig, it feels like both teams are saying next goal is going to win.
Yeah, next goal is a huge one. It changes the game dramatically. And, you know, the one thing for the Leafs on home ice, you can't let that late goal derail you. You got time to reevaluate. You've got a goaltender who's been on such a great run the way that Samsonov has. So get him to have the mindset of shutting the door and try to take this one home.
Interesting schedule for Carolina. They had a 5-day break. They've won 4 or 5 since then. This is their 6th game in 10. They're in the midst of 14 games in 24. And the Leafs play their second game after a similar 5-day break. Right away, Gensel is on the line, kept out. Edmondson saved the goal as that puck looked like it was leaking past Samsonov and in.
Well, there's been a few times Samsonov has had a hard time finding that puck in his crease, and that one just trickled right through his legs and somehow stayed above the line.
Bobby McMahon has moved up onto the line with Matthews and Bertuzzi, and Matthews goes to work. Trying to get it back to Bertuzzi. That pass broken up. And trying to get away was Slavin. He'll peel back on a change, and both teams make their first changes of this third period.
Boy, dodged the bullet there, didn't you? Trying to get off to a good start in the third, and it was almost a tie game, 15 seconds in.
Roberts denies Tavares come out against Faust with Stahl. That shot off Samsonov and out. Carolina tweaked their lines earlier on, and the Leafs with an adjustment here. A goal-saving play by Joel Edmondson.
Well, it's off the skate, and does it go under his arm? Yeah, it just sneaks under his arm, but how about both Littlegren and that one-handed play by Edmondson just stopped it from getting there. That was knocked out of midair towards the net and then somehow made it through, but great job of the combination of Littlegren and Edmondson to help their goaltender out to keep that one out of the net.
Tavares digs in on the drop, up against Kuznetsov. Leafs with control. Brody tied up, but Tavares helped out. The team ahead. Knocked back to center by Tavares. And the captain will make sure this time it gets deep. Up for Svechnikov. Brody stepped up on him, backed up by Robertson, and now it's Pesce trying to skeet away from the checking of Nyes. Up at center ice, dumped in. Here's Svechnikov across, and then glanced off the stick of Kuznetsov, who plays back into his own zone. Robertson races after against Orlov. One-handing it ahead. Markov gets it to Stahl. Here's Stahl leading on Domi, who fights Pursuit. Back to Chatfield. He'll walk it in and off the post. Chatfield grazed the post. Orlov, that deflects wide. Carolina starting hot here in the third. And now comes Nylander. He'll roll it in.
Domi got hit in the face, does it, by Martin up there, and no call. That's all fans were reacting to.
Mason and Stahl from the corner. Around it goes to Burns. Here's Burns shooting right on. And out come the Leafs with Kemp. Big pass for Gregor. Looks on the brakes. Trying to get it deep for Kemp, but absorbed there by Burns. Now a breakaway pass. David Kemp with a step. Shoots, scores! Leafs back up by 2. Another breakaway goal.
And another instance where a chance at one end looked like one team was going to get on the board, and instead it goes right back the other way. Here's Chatfield. Look at how much time he had. Walked right in, gets the quick little wrister off the post and out the other side. And the worst nightmare again for Rod Brind'Amour. A turnover for the 4th time at the offensive line. And how about Kemp? The key to Kemp here is his first few strides. He does an excellent job of creating some separation. It wasn't an easy play. He was almost from a standstill. And look at that look. Right over the stick and between the legs of the goaltender, Kemp. Showed great patience there and able to create a little bit of open room, and he puts that one exactly where he needed to.
So it's a 3-game point streak for David Kemp, who has his 6th of the year, first in 10. It's a big one. And Morgan Riley has his 2nd assist of this game. So all 4 lead goals have had a blue liner helping out. Here goes Holmberg charging in. Holmberg trying to cut inside. Back out there with Matthews now. Holmberg's on it. Looking for Bertuzzi. Matthews in behind the net. Knocked that out of midair. Back to Liljegren. Seth Jarvis leans on him. Liljegren. It comes out in front. Matthews. And he just missed that. That's usually automatic from there. He hooks it in front. Here's a chance. Bertuzzi. Blocked by Shea. Flipped out to center ice. Edmondson knocks it down. Gives it to Liljegren. And Timothy Liljegren, red line back in. Tavares comes out. On the forecheck, it comes around. There's Nyes trying to tie up. Svechnikov it does. Bouncing puck, and it is knocked inside the line. Played back in by Riley. Morgan Riley up to 49 points. Dump it back into Carolina ice.
Another example, just the physical play of Labushkin there. It keeps Natchez with his head up the next time coming down there as he finished his check hard.
Hartman fired that across. Here's Kuznetsov right on. And it'll be flipped away by Riley. Look at McMahon with speed. He's got Nylander along with him. Nylander back for McMahon, and it gets by him as we hit the 5-minute mark of the third. 2:55, the time of the Leaf fourth goal. Camp 6 from Riley. Marty Stahl steers it in, and they're going to call that offside at the Toronto line.
Chris, you mentioned it before. You're so used to Matthews in this area. Just a great job in the corner of keeping that puck alive. Backhand to forehand, tried to go blocker side, just didn't quite find the mix. You know, this is one of those little spots where it's a bit of a lull. Just 3 goals in his last 9 games, and you know that you're a goal scorer when he hasn't had a multi-goal game in 10 games. That's the longest stretch of the season. That says a lot about the way the year's been going. There haven't been many times where the puck hasn't gone in for him. Oh, we got a penalty right off the draw here.
And it's going against Martin.
Noah Gregor on the face-off trying to jump in for that puck, and it's Martinook who gets the stick out. Out to the top. Oh, yeah, right across the bridge of the nose there. So a power play chance to try to build the lead here for a Leaf power play that's 0 for 2 on the night.
1 for 22 in this 9-game drought. And again, 3 forwards and 2 defensemen. Nylander at the right point, Riley in there in the left wing position. And Carolina wins the draw and clear.
Down to the penalty 5-16. Martin 2 for ice kicking at 5-16.
There's Liljegren kicking it back to Nylander. Matthews with it. Nylander over the line with Tavares. Gets it back. Backhand in front. That shot goes wide. As Kachetkov was sliding across. Nylander centers. Tavares back to the line. Liljegren. Matthews on it. Trying to get away from the checking of Slavin. Quick shot is deflected off target. Jarvis can't clear. Kept alive by Tavares. Riley. Nylander working it in. Shot off a stick. Liljegren follows. Riley in the slot for Matthews. Stopped by Kachetkov. Matthews with 3 career goals against Kachetkov. 9 and 15 against Carolina. Liljegren shooting. There's a rebound. Tavares. Matthews. And it's cleared by the Canes.
Well, that's a much more confident power play, though, isn't it? The quick puck movement, bodies flying around, and although they didn't score, that's the best this power play has looked in a while in terms of moving the puck around.
40 seconds remaining. The second. Here's a chance in front. Oh, what a stop. Did you see that? Ilya Samsonov robbing Jesper Fast. Short-handed.
You got the first unit that was snapping the puck around and having good chances in the Carolina zone. Twice they kept it in where it looked like Carolina was going to get the chance to clear. And here's the one, just a good stick there by Burns that didn't allow Matthews to get the shot. And then on the change of the second unit, Fast finds himself all alone. What a great look there and a good read by Samsonov. Gets the glove up there, but the glove being down was in perfect position to make the save.
Off the draw. Robertson up with it. Now Bertuzzi to work over the line for Nick Robertson. Into the slot. Nice with a move. And then knocked off his stick wide. 20 seconds of power play time left. Domi. McCabe. And in front it goes. Nice. Can't convert. Quick pass there by Bertuzzi. Nice. Parks in front again. Back to the line. Robertson. That hits a stick. Deep for Bertuzzi. Around for Domi, who has 5 shots on goal. Leafs making a change at the end of the power play as it's knocked off the stick of Nyes again. Leafs get a pair of defensemen out. Domi up into the air to pull that down. Bouncing puck still alive, and it goes to Nyes, and that comes out to center. So the Leafs 0 for 3 on the power play tonight. Approaching 8 minutes in the third, a 4-2 game. Orlov back in his own zone, nearly gave that away. Dewar couldn't knock it down. Edmondson for Kemp, whose goal here in the third's a big one. Along the boards and now played ahead. There's Kemp knocking it off the stick of Natchez. Dewar for Kemp again. And checked en route to the net. It'll be shoveled up to center. And Svechnikov from the red line plays it deep. Shots now 29-28 for Carolina. Pass for Matthews intercepted. Natchez along with Gensel back in. Natchez left it there and Matthews stole it. 34 to the attack. Rolling it through for McMahon. Side of the net. Around it comes. Across for Edmondson. And back across. Matthews shot. Rebound. Oh, and Kachevkov with an open net for Holmberg.
Rocket of a pass coming across there. And two great saves by Kachevkov. Really almost on his back on the last one.
That keeps Carolina within reach. Around for Holmberg again and out. Pesci backhands it deep. Carolina's got a tag and they'll get a wholesale change. That gives Nyes room to wheel through center. He'll chip and chase. After it against Pesci. Around to the far side. Tavares after it. And up with it is Lemieux. He got it to center. Robertson for Nyes. He took a high stick. That goes undetected. Back comes Brendan Lemieux. Tied up there by Tavares. DJ Brody along the inboards. Helped out by Robertson at outlet. And that'll be bounced out and back down into Carolina ice. Brady Shea waits as both teams make changes and we tick down to 10 minutes remaining in the third. Hot Ricochet in front. Quick ahead for Kemp. And now Dewar dumps it in. Riley's not going to chase that. There's Gregor on the forecheck. Orlov wheels away. Stahl knocks it in. And goes after it against Labushkin. There's Foss. Martinick around. Held in at the line by Chatfield. In is Martinick in front. And that hit a stick and up to Gregor, who gets rid of it. And he got the best of that collision with Orlov. Edmondson with a tap on the back of Orlov's ankles as he came onto the ice. Here's Burns. Brent Burns working his way in. In behind, a one-handed pass in front is knocked out. The Hurricanes looking for a delay of deed penalty here, and the officials are going to talk about it.
Well, here's the best chance there. Matthews reaches back for this one. Toe save there by Kochetkov, and then off the toe of Aho and out.
penalty. They may have missed a high stick, and the Leafs fortunate they may have missed this.
Yeah, there's no question that should be a call as Domi got it out without hitting the stick. And Rod Brind'Amour on the bench, they watched the replay too, but the officials don't get the opportunity to watch. All four of them discussed it for a great length of time over the commercial break, but weren't able to distinguish that it was clearly out, so a break there for the Leafs.
Rod Brind'Amour was on 32 Thoughts for the offseason, and he likes video review for all situations. So we wonder if we'll get to that with pucks out of play. Just over 9 minutes to go, and there's an easy stop for Ilya Samsonov.
You know, it seems like Bobby McMahon has got, wouldn't you say, every other shift with Matthews. It's interesting just to see what Sheldon Keefe is doing. Holmberg's played a number of times in this period, but McMahon in this third period has had a good opportunity to play with number 34.
You talk a lot about trust from coaches, and Bobby McMahon's earned that contract extension and trust as well. That one slides wide. Man plays it out, dumped back in. Brody after it along the boards. It came to Gensel. Buckled there by the other 59 on the ice. Pass across, McMahon got a stick on that, loose in front, and the Leafs with a clear.
There's your trust you're talking about. That was a backdoor tap in for Slavin. Had Bobby McMahon not read it defensively and had a good stick to turn it away.
Hurricanes not going away. 4 points back of the Rangers for first in the Metro. Up ahead off Bertuzzi's stick and out. Burns back, flips it ahead. Leafs were changing. Oh, leaned off by Matthews, who checks him. McMahon will just bounce that deep enough to get a full change for the Leafs. Here's Pesce. Veteran defenseman sends it into Toronto ice. Nature's on it with Kuznetsov now. And a centering pass. Here's a chance. Oh, a stick. Kept that out when it looked like Kuznetsov had an open net. Evgeny Kuznetsov up high. Get another look at that to see how it didn't go in. Robertson on it. Tavares knocks Svechnikov down, and away goes Robertson. Plays it into the side of the cage. Kochetkov will cover, and how did Kuznetsov not score? Here's a look at it. On the backhand, and not in.
Electric, pure performance. It's hard not to get electrified for the home crowd when your team is sent in alone on a breakaway. The Maple Leafs have had a handful of them here tonight and converted on 3 of them. Tavares had the first. That was followed by William Nylander, and then David Kampf here in this third period to restore the 2-goal lead. We talked in the pregame about Toronto getting more balanced scoring of late. 3 of their 4 forward lines have contributed to the offense so far in this one, Chris.
And Kyle, our Sports Logic friends tell us that Carolina's got the worst percentage of allowing goals off breakaways, 38.7. That number went up with what we've seen from the Leafs tonight so far.
Well, it'll be one for Rod Brindamore showing the tape afterwards. It's just the puck control. They've given up the puck in the offensive zone at the blue line, and it's gone back in their net 4 times.
Off the draw, here's Max Domi trying to get it to the net. A backhand by McMahon, right on. Carolina clears, Domi back into his own zone. Edmondson flips it out. And now Chatfield off the boards back in. Under 7 remaining. Carolina in Ottawa tomorrow. The Leafs will go back to Philadelphia for a game Tuesday. We'll be with them Wednesday in Washington. Orlov, Chatfield firing that and off a stick wide. And a week from tonight, the Edmonton Oilers are in town. And everybody looking forward to that. Of course, it's Colorado-Edmonton tonight in one of our 2 late games, and that will be a beauty. Stahl shooting. Shrugged away by Samsonov. Another Carolina push here. Trying to close the gap. And Nylander able to play it out.
Oh, look at it rolling. The fact that Chatfield didn't go after it, though, I think was the call-off for the official. Went a lot further than I think even the official was expecting it to.
Morgan Rielly, a pair of assists up ahead to Gregor. He'll chip it ahead, and there's Dewar on it again. Connor Dewar in deep. Turns it across, and that goes off Kochetkov. Camp will try and cycle that. Dewar there as well. Camp after it, comes up with it behind the Carolina net. David Camp into the corner, a centering pass picked off by Jarvis. Great stick by Rielly, but Carolina advances. Seth Jarvis in, trying to shift gears on Rielly. Plays it across. Brady Shea wraps it around. Now Gensel in front, and that hit the skate to Camp, who was positioned in front defensively. Back across, and that's deflected by Camp and out. So down to 5:11 left in the third. 4-2 Toronto.
Night in Canada in Vancouver. TJ Oshie is taking warm-ups for the Capitals. If he plays tonight, it's game 1,000 in his career. But in Edmonton, the main event, McKinnon versus McDavid. The Avalanche trying to sweep their way through Western Canada. Evan Bouchard and Adam Henrique of the Oilers guest this week on After Hours with Scott O. Chris?
And Nikita Kucherov may have something to say about the Heart. He had a goal and an assist tonight in a lightning win over Florida. So the Panthers losing 2 straight after they were beaten by Carolina on Thursday. Leafs in their St. Patrick's uniforms, won last year on St. Patrick's Day against Carolina, 5-2. Here's Necas fanning, a shot by Svechnikov, and Samsonov trying to cover. Kuznetsov worked it loose into the crease, and it's swatted away by Robertson.
A good second effort by Kuznetsov there. He almost able to get to it. He kept it alive at least, and almost gave it a second chance getting it to the front of the net.
Puck came to the front of the net, and Samsonov will cover up as he tries to enhance a pretty terrific stat.
Well, you look at this. I mean, you go back to, let's say, Christmas Day. You ask any Toronto Maple Leaf fan, you go, would Samsonov, would you ever imagine that he'd be in this company? And this has been the turnaround of his season. It's quite remarkable. Look at those names. Great Eddie Belfour, Turk Broda, John Roach. He's 440 away from making it 14 in 16 games. Pretty incredible run.
How many on that list? And one was from 100 years ago for the St. Pats. Here's Bertuzzi and McMahon in. Bertuzzi stopped, backhand right into the glove of Pyotr Kochetkov.
Oh, good quick play off of a draw as you get the 2 wingers who just blow up the ice and create something out of nothing. There's Morgan Riley with the lift pass. You can see that's a set play because both Bertuzzi and McMahon were long gone, and the quick little backhander, good read by Kochetkov to anticipate where that one was going.
Martinook plays it in behind the net. Stefan Nason there in front, and Bertuzzi knocks it away from Stahl back into the Carolina zone. 35-34 the shots now. Higher total than you might have expected. McMahon couldn't pull the trigger right away. Nason deflects that high. McMahon knocks down Martinook along the boards. Another shift with Matthews for 74.
You think that the Hurricanes, best in the National Hockey League, they only give up 25 shots a game. So the fact you're sitting with 34 on your job offensively.
Here's Garbus, who has a goal, and now Kochetkov to the bench for an extra attacker. Over 3.5 to go, and the net is empty. TJ Brodie off the boards ahead for Max Domi. Rink wide for Nylander. He'll dig in after it and come up with it to center it. And Carolina there to dump it away, but now David Kemp kicks it back to Brodie. It's the night that TJ Brodie maybe can bump the slump.
97 games for Brodie. I thought he might just airmail one and try to get it there.
Domi sprawled. Necas comes up with it. And we tick down to 3:03 left in the third. Here come the Kings. Over the line, Necas. Orlov lost it. And it'll be played back up, but now a penalty, and it's going to be a 6-on-4 advantage for Carolina.
And maybe one of the bigger problems, too, you already have no Mitch Marner, no Yarncroke, and now another key penalty killer in David Kampf, who's the one who takes the penalty. Just reaching here, did he get it into the hands as Orlov? Wasn't much. Orlov lost it, but stick on hand gets the call, and now with 2:54, plenty of time, and it looks like a timeout for Rod Brind'Amour to talk over this power play.
Remember that stadium game, the Rangers had this situation and scored twice.
Yeah, and you know, here's the discussion back in days when I played. I think often you keep the goaltender in and think trust your power play to get one quickly so you don't give the penalty killers a freebie. It looks like there's no hesitation though at all for Rod Brind'Amour. More of the analytics say get the goaltender out, get your 6-on-4 and go for it.
Hurricanes have scored one 6-on-4, allowed one as well. And the Leafs do have a goal, 4-on-6.
Well, how about the night for Bobby McMahon? Here he is again with an opportunity to kill penalties. I mean, he's averaging just over 14 and a half on the year, and this has been a night he's already almost at 15 minutes, and nothing more critical to try to kill a penalty later. He's had a heck of a game.
William Nylander to take the defensive zone draws, won 3 of 4 tonight, but Stahl prevails. Back to Aho. And they get this 6-on-4 setup. Burns up top. Stahl parked in front. In the slot to Gitzel. Backdoor is Svechnikov. And back to Burns, who had to be good to keep that alive. Aho to Burns and across. Gitzel shot. Blocked there by McCabe. He'll get it back again. And he sent it wide. Back to the point for Burns. Watched by Nylander. Aho. Broken up Brody. And that one fired wide of the net. But the Leafs will get a change now. And get almost another minute off the clock. But here comes Aho back in. Sebastian Aho deep for Jarvis. Lyubushkin's on the ice now. Dewar and Matthews, the penalty killers. Across for Aho. He's allowed to move in. Burns. One-time shot. Blocked there by Edmondson. Orlov gets it back. Burns again. Far side. Aho down low to Jarvis. Mostly to the outside. Orlov back in front. Scores. A pinball in. And with 1:32 to go, a power play goal makes it 4-3.
Well, there's the pure example of having the 2 extra men where it ends up coming to your advantage. 2 great blocks, one by McCabe in the shift before and the other one by Edmondson on the one-timers. So all Carolina's trying to do is thread it through. It gets chipped a little bit in the high slot. Watch as Orlov shoots this. I think it's Svechnikov gets a little chip, so that goes past the stick of Lyubushkin. Lyubushkin actually read that well. He was going to stop the pass to get to Aho, but the little chip by Svechnikov put it between the stick and skates of Lyubushkin and an empty net for Aho.
26th of the year for Sebastian Aho. 7 in his last 13, gets them within 1. With 90 seconds on the clock, and Kachetkov back to the bench for an extra attacker, 6-on-5. Loose for Nylander, flipped it ahead, but Shea clumps it down. Here's Brady Shea, challenged by Nylander. Burns across, lays it down the boards, and it's Brody sending it out to center. Stahl checked by Brody, played in, and McCabe wired that up. Kuznetsov. Getting Kuznetsov behind the net. Brody on it. Flips it ahead, and it's off the stick of McMahon and out with under a minute to go. Winding it up is the speedy Aegis, working his way in. On the backhand, leaves it. And Samsonov stops that on a sharp angle. Back to Shea. To the middle. There's a shot that goes wide, and on the near side, Kuznetsov. His shot sells Aho in front. Shea across, one-time shot to the glass wide, and Aho can barely stand after blocking that shot. Natchez, Svechnikov, Kuznetsov. And it's another pass in front, scored! Brett Burns, it was tipped with 5.8 to go. And is it Kuznetsov who's tied it?
Let's take your pick, eh? I think Aho in front of the net. You got Kuznetsov high slot. They're all exhausted here, but you know, earlier on, Aho got hit by the shot and just kept his positioning. This one almost gets cleared there. A good stick by Brody, but watch the front of the net on this deflection. I think it hits Aho there. Coming through the legs. Yeah, right there, the stick of Aho after a long shift. He was felled by his own partner, and wow, what a tip that is, as that one's going right by the net harmlessly. Instead, Aho ties this game at 4.
Aho at 1828, and again at 1954. Goals 26 and 27 on the year. And we'll head to overtime. Tied at 4 here at Scotiabank.
Overtime is brought to you by Subway's new in-house fresh sliced deli. Try it tonight on one of your Subway favorites.
Well, quite an end to this game. You got a 6-on-4, and the leading scorer for Carolina all year comes in with 2 huge plays here. Here's the shot that hit him on the top of the foot and felled him down. He was slow to get up, but gets in amazing position here, and this is one that Burns. Again, a shot by Burns that is a little bit off the net to make sure it doesn't get blocked. And Aho, you see the reaction on one bench and the disbelief on the other. It's been a sloppy game for Carolina. You know, those turnovers cost them 4 goals, but they made up for it in the last 2 minutes.
So Brent Burns, he's 40, playing in his 1400th game. He was out for the final 2:48, and he starts overtime.
Oh, man, just can't tire him out, can you?
Leafs 7-7, 3-on-3. Hurricanes are 5-2. 30th one-goal game of the year for Toronto, and Brent Burns has gone off. As Carolina with first possession in overtime, Natchez will wind it up. Aho back. Aho had 3 points in the first meeting, 3 points again here tonight. 2 goals and an assist. Riley with a steal, but the puck is left behind, and it's a shot. Samsonov got a stick on that. It goes flying as he robs Slavin.
Well, how about Natchez there? He's thinking, oh man, I'm going to be trapped. He does a great job of speeding in, but great play by Riley, knocks him down. Now all of a sudden Natchez gets the puck out back, and just a really good aggressive move by Samsonov. Watch how far Samsonov's in deep. Now he gets outside his blue paint and right off the knob of his stick. That was labeled for the top corner, and the knob of the stick of Samsonov took it right out of his hands, but it saved the game.
Tavares to take the draw and wins it, so he's won 10-14 in the game, but Carolina back on the puck. Svechnikov handed it away. Nylander with a break. Williger's with him, and so is John Tavares, and he sent it wide. Look out, Kuznetsov had to wait for it. Svechnikov with him, and Kuznetsov stopped. As it took forever for him to get to the net. Now Nylander ahead. Tavares back in, fired that wide, and around it goes for Kuznetsov, who has to be out of gas here. Remember, he was up for an extended period of time. Here's a break, but it's too far for Matthews. And Kochetkov out at center ice. Kuznetsov only getting to the bench now. Natchez missed the target. Domi out along with Matthews in overtime now as Shea backpedals into his own zone. Now the Hurricanes go to the attack. Gensel crisscrossing with Natchez. Natchez spins and lost it against Domi, who knocks it loose for Morgan Riley. Leafs head north. Up for Matthews. Riley jumping. Tried to give it back and unable to get it there. Matthews steals. Domi for the win. Domi! And Kochetkov got just enough of that. Matthews closes quickly. Creates a loose puck. Goes to the net. Kochetkov the stop. Penalty coming up. Austin Matthews draws a power play for the Leafs in overtime.
Oh man, just the end-to-end action as you missed the net a few times. You created a few odd man rushes. Domi in all alone trying to end the game, and Kochetkov lost his stick but got a piece of it. Now Matthews, the determined play here, draws the penalty. Can't get the shot that he wanted out of it, but that quick move from the boards gets Gensel into his hands, and a slashing call and a 4-on-3 power play, and I'm sure Toronto will take their time here to call timeout.
So Guy Boucher trying to drop a 4-on-3 game-winning goal after Carolina tied it with a 6-on-4 and a 6-on-5.
Well, you had the chances end-to-end. Nylander with the drop back to Tavares. It was a good move, but he just got right through the legs. And when you miss a shot going that way, it's going back the other. Kuznetsov with a 2-on-0 for a little bit. You see the white stick of Nylander maybe take that away. And here's that last chance at Domi. You can see Kochetkov kind of panicked a bit through his stick and able to get a piece of it with his blocker.
Great back check by Nylander, but I was surprised that Kuznetsov didn't get it to Svechnikov a little earlier.
Yeah, me too. I think Svechnikov was as well.
So Matthews comes out with Nylander, Bertuzzi, and Riley. Austin Matthews with 3 overtime goals. Nylander has 2 game winners and has the puck. Nylander trying to skate away from Slavin. In behind, Morgan Riley. And now Matthews. Bertuzzi parks in front. Here's Riley. Back into the middle for Matthews. Back to Riley in front. Bertuzzi couldn't get a stick on that. Nylander. Matthews gives it back. Riley to Matthews, but off a Carolina stick. Morgan Riley back to Nylander one more time. Matthews one-timer, and Kochetkov's got that.
You can just sense the little movement trying to create the one-time shot. 2 good plays defensively by Stahl. One on Bertuzzi and then another one coming across. They finally do get in. You can see a little daylight on the 5-hole there as Kochetkov came across, but he's able to hold on as Matthews gets the one-timer away.
Riley off a minute 48 into the shift. Matthews has been out a minute 39, but he stays. And a face-off won by Carolina. They'll clear.
4 forwards out here for the Maple Leafs.
So Matthews to work. It's been an extended shift for him, but he'll charge back in. Pass across, Domi and Nylander. Let it go, Matthews again. Drops, Domi shoots, loose in front, and Kochetkov covers with Tavares on the doorstep.
But not only did he cover, but he made the save, and the puck was dropping down for a rebound as Tavares was going to turn. But watch Kochetkov, he's able to catch this one off of midair. He didn't get it the first time. It's through the screen of Tavares and then able to grab it and hold on as Tavares was looking for a rebound.
This penalty kill of Carolina over 90% on the road. And the Leafs trying to break through on their 4th power play of the game, but they are turned back again. So 45 seconds of power play time left. Matthews for Domi. Nylander playing back as Domi's got it. And now Matthews, who looks like he might be out of gas. Domi. And across, Nylander trying to steer that to Tavares. Broken up by Stahl. Off the boards, down low. Center, no! Kochetkov came across as Tavares with a backhand. Domi fans. Matthews back, and Nylander swing and a miss. Final minute of overtime. Hooked in front, broken up, and cleared.
Oh, what a play by Slavin. I think he saved a goal with his glove as that was going cross crease for a probable tap in on the backside.
3 shots, but the Leafs unable to produce a game winner on the power play, and now even strength here, 4-on-4. McMahon trying to charge in with Kemp. David Kemp works it loose from the corner. McMahon gives it back to him. Orlov all over Kemp behind the net. But Kemp continues to battle. Got a goal tonight. Hands to Liljegren. Timothy Liljegren with a spin. Riley shot hit away. Riley again. Missed the target. Kemp. Liljegren down low. One more try. Kachepkov's got that. And covers with 3.7 remaining.
You got frustration around Riley looking up. Can't believe he wasn't able to put that one in. But Jacob Slavin, I think, saves the goal here. Tavares goes backhand across. It's going to be over to Matthews for a great chance. Instead, a glove save by Slavin. Now down the pipe, it comes right back to Morgan Riley. And that's why I look at Skyward, just missed that left side by inches on that rebound.
On the eve of St. Paddy's Day, it might have been fitting at 44 ended it. But Irish Eyes not smiling yet tonight. 3.7 left. And Tavares pulled it right back, and we'll head to a shootout tonight as the Hurricanes fight back and then hold on in overtime. Leafs out shooting the Hurricanes 6-2 in the extra session.
Well, you think you got the opportunity with the power play and just weren't able to quite capitalize. A couple great defensive efforts, and now you get down to the shootout where Carolina struggled. 1-4 on the season, and the Maple Leafs, after only having 3 last year, they were 1-2 last year. They had a good success rate, 5-1 in the shootout, and here they get another opportunity to not let this game slip away.
And they hope that breakaway stat we mentioned carries through in the shootout as well. The Leafs with 3 breakaway goals here tonight.
Well, how about the forwards? The shots are 40-40. The score is 40, and we've gone through the 4th period. And let's see how many rounds we have to go through of this shootout to get finally a result.
Leafs will shoot first. And up first will be William Nylander, who inexplicably is 0 for 6. How's that possible?
You know what? Because he looks so calm and controlled when he gets a breakaway during actual play. But this is so different. This is unlike anything within a game because it's just standing around waiting for the whistle to go, and then it's just you and the goaltender. You almost feel like you need a guy chasing you down from the back to have your natural play.
Kachetkov 0 for 2 in the shootout this year, and Nylander in, and Kachetkov makes it an 0 for 7 for William Nylander.
And you know that there's an example where most guys go onto the side. He went right down the gut and just tried to get Kachetkov to make a quick move, and he didn't. He stuck with it the entire time.
Kuznetsov will be first up, and he's been good. He might be slow, but he's effective. 3 for 6. Put the clock on this. You get a delay of game penalty.
And Samsonov got an answer. And his old friend, you know, looking at him saying this to me just doesn't seem like a shootout play, and almost coming to a complete stop at the very end. And how about the patience of Samsonov, just not biting at all and able to keep the 5-hole closed and make the save.
That was over 10 seconds. Matthews up next for the Leafs, 2 for 6. And Kachetkov stayed with him.
Well, I credit Kachetkov there. He read that perfectly. You know, one thing, Matthews, you have to respect the ability for the quick release. And it looked like right there he was going to make his move, and Kachetkov guessed correctly, sliding across.
So here is Svechnikov. He's 0 for 3. What a dangerous sniper for Carolina. And shoots wide on the backhand.
Not even a shot on goal on that one. And both goaltenders are showing a lot of patience, aren't they? Watch shuffling across is Samsonov, and he just didn't bite on anything. Didn't give him any quick reaction to react off.
Well, Max Domi, 2 for 3. Let's see what he does on this Saturday night. And Kochetkov diving out.
Oh, wow.
Ala Johnny Bauer here in Toronto.
Is that ever old school? You know, you look at Domi with the leg kick and everything, trying to get him to freeze. That's a gamble that, boy, did it ever pay off, but he went all in. Not only did he have the poke check, he had the blocker and glove there in support.
Well, Jake Gensel has not scored for his new team, but he can win a game for his new team. Gensel in, scores, and the Hurricanes storm back and win this one in a shootout, 5-4. What a performance down the stretch by Pyotr Kochetkov to give his team a chance.
Wow, and as you said for Jake Gensel, a new team, new opportunity. And how about this move? Just freezes him and then 5-hole. Once you get the movement from the goaltender right there, and then you got to slide across, and Samsonov tried to recover but wasn't able to. What a comeback there for the Carolina Hurricanes.
2 goals in the final minute, 32 to tie it. And the Hurricanes win it in a shootout. Here's Ron McLean.
What a couple of games those were, and what a couple we have coming up. Washington's in Vancouver tonight, and Colorado takes on Edmonton. We will take you to Rogers Arena and Rogers Place. Roger that.
The NHL.